episode of Speed Seasons 3. My name is Amber Cyprin. I am your host for this afternoon, and I'm joined by Alpha 5, who organized all of this, and our very special guest commentator for this day of races that we have coming up, Railcoon, our very own tech, our wonderful Railcoon.
Hello.
But I hope you're ready for me to say very nice things about you. I don't get you on mic very often.
Oh no.
But before we start, we do have a few announcements. Of course, if you haven't heard, SGDQ 2021 online is July 4th to the 11th, so be sure to check out gamesdonequick.com for more information on that. Prize submissions, which have been open up to this point, are closing end of day June 27th. That's tomorrow. So if you have something that you'd like to donate as a prize, make sure you get those submissions in before then. And of course, if you are watching on YouTube and you'd like to support our live content, please consider checking us out on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/GDQ. And if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe to any Twitch channel of your choice every month for free. So please consider using your Prime Gaming account to subscribe to the GDQ Twitch channel. So Alpha, we're at the semifinals. It's coming to a head here.
Yeah, after 20 weeks, we're finally almost done. We have four more races, or four more, I guess, matches of races.
Yeah.
Of those four matches, my only constant is I have an extreme doubt anybody is going to ban Skyblazer. And everything else is kind of just up in the air, because people seem to like a lot of the other games. We might not see Doom. Railkin is going to be very sad about that, just because one of the competitors has like 10 minutes on everybody else, or like 16 minutes. It was a lot. Piper did insane on this. This is going to be really good. Our first match, we've only had one quote-unquote upset in the tournament so far, with Just Defend taking it over LK last week. And yeah, this is the end of the Learn 7 speedruns, and over 18 weeks, and then put it to use as you play it all in the finals. It's certainly been a lot of work on everyone's part, especially the runners. I just want to shout out all of the runners again, everybody who joined in, even a couple games. There were a few people who had joined every game. They didn't really practice a lot of it. We had Spritz T and Huckleberry Finished joined a lot of the games. There was Lord Pink Floyd and Shoehorse, who joined they joined at Katamari, and then they played forward, but there was 300 points they couldn't make up. So it was hard pressed to make the finals, but just a lot of people who did put in effort or just wanted to play games. And I just really want to shout out all of the runners as we're coming towards the end of this insanity that I have concocted, and will keep it that way until I can convince someone in like a year and a half to 2 years to let me do this again. We'll see. But yeah,
surprised at how many times we played Katamari. The player reaction to that when we did the first race was not good, and yet we've played it almost every match in the tournament.
Well, no, we have played it every match. We played it 4 for 4 so far. And honestly, I think the reasons the bans might come out this week is that both races, they would have to make up 5 minutes to beat the other person. And it's either, well, do I do this, or do I practice this other game that I'm within 2 minutes of this other person? That's why I think in the first match we might see Link's Awakening, because 1UP was only like a minute and a half behind Pika Pals in that race. And that's a hard category where things can just explode. So that might be, well, that's easier to make sure I have consistent than I have going. Or than try to peel 5 minutes off of Katamari time. That didn't look great last week. So we'll see.
Yeah, so let's actually recap very quickly. We do have the bracket available on speedseasons.com. I've posted that link in chat, but for anyone who is just joining, I can go ahead and directly link the playoff bracket.
You can vote for people too.
Yeah, we haven't started these matches yet. So last weekend we had Pika Pals versus Pop Tart Cat, and 1UP Joe versus 1UP Joe. Wow, Saint Joe versus 1UP 40. petition for one of them to change their name to One Up Joe.
One Up Joe's a good handle. I'm just gonna say that.
It actually is. So we had One Up 40 versus St. Joe. They actually did go to Game 3 with One Up 40 versus St. Joe, but Pika Pals and One Up moved on, and they will be our first match today here in the semifinals. Now, then we had LK versus Just Defend and Piper versus Socrates on the second day. Or actually, I'm sorry, I'm like mixing them up, but regardless, we had those matches. But LK and Just Defend went to Game 3, and that was actually a really close game, like set of games there, if I recall correctly. It really just came down to, what was the final game? It was Katamari, right?
No, Super Mario Brothers 2. The only time we've seen it.
Oh.
Yeah, Skyblazer's very close in Skyblazer. And
no,
then...
that was One Up 40 who played SMB2 against Joe.
Yeah, wait, weren't you talking about that? Wait, who did you say?
LK and Just Defend.
LK versus Just Defend was Katamari at the end. Yeah.
Yes.
And that was because Just Defend really, really good at SMB2. Don't expect to see that allowed for him at all. If we do, someone's really calling him out. But yeah, that went that way, and then similarly, Skyblazer, very close race, but LK monster time in that, got like a 27. And then yeah, Katamari was a minute apart, and it looked like it could flip flop every which way, and it was definitely the least one-sided of our Katamari races by like a significant mile. They finished within a minute of each other. Everybody else was 5 minutes apart.
Yeah.
of the other racer. One such case was like 15 minutes apart. It was like 11, not 15. But yeah, I think we'll see less Katamari just because I felt like even though a lot of people didn't like it, it was a good, safe, neutral ground. You know?
Yeah, I think so.
I think now that everybody
knows, it was the least glitchy and the most movement based and the least difficult, like punishing run, like SMB too, for example.
I would say the least punishing run is probably CTR.
Oh, CTR is very, very beginner friendly, but
I don't know if I'd
we
call
also
CTR
had like
the most punishing.
No, I said least.
Oh, least. Okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, because if you're picking the game up for the first time, you can do that category with Coco knowing absolutely nothing in like 48 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
I'd say SMB2 is probably the most punishing.
SMB2, Doom, or
and
maybe
LADX,
Link's Awakening, because you have to know Link's Awakening in order to be able to play the game. It's not one of the ones that you can go in and try and do that category with no knowledge of the run.
Yeah. It's just the SMB2, you can game over and lose a lot of progress.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we did see One Up game over last week, but based on how they did end up gaming over once, that almost felt like a nerves rushing to their brain. They were just like, this is the last level, they haven't finished, and because it was like 3 really, really quick, like oops-a-daisy deaths, just back to back to back. I think hopefully that's been settled down and he's doing better. But we will see, I guess, if that is left up. We're gonna start some bans sometime soon, or
so we'll go ahead and talk about this format here as we go into this first match. Pika Pals versus One Up 40 with the terrifyingly transparent One Up mushroom.
That's the one that he gave me. So,
like Railcoon showed me like just a placeholder, like I think I've got it for the layout, and it was One Up 40s on top of it.
Why did you that? Yeah. Why did you add it?
And so well, the system that we've got going on here is there are 7 games: Super Mario Brothers 2, Doom, Link's Awakening DX, Katamari Damacy, Skyblazer, Crash Team Racing, and Pilot Wings. Each runner is going to take turns banning 1 game each, so they'll ban total of 2 games, for a total of 4 total bans. That is the most convoluted way I could have said that, but anyways, we're going to go back and forth between top seed and bottom seed here. So we have Pika Pals in top seed, and One Up is seed number 4. So Pika Pals will get the first ban. We're actually going to prompt him right now. Let me just reach out to him.
What do you think, Alva? First ban. Call out
Pilot Wings. If it's not Pilot Wings, then the second ban from Pika Pals is going to be Pilot Wings. I know Pika Pals did not enjoy that game.
All right, so Pika Pals is saying Pilot Wings. There it is.
The one ban I knew that was going to happen in this set, 100% was going to be Pilot Wings.
CTR is gone.
All right.
1UP has selected CTR to go.
Let's randomly. It's either going to be Doom or SMB2 here.
Ban SMB. No.
Pika Pals ban Doomed. And then 1UP.
1UP saying thank you. And here I'm expecting a Katamari ban. Actually, I will not be surprised. Yes,
Katamari ban. Yo, y'all are on the money with this.
Yeah, I had a very strong feeling that it was going to be there unless Pika Pals practiced Doom. SMB2 was going to be left up, but this is very. Wasn't confident enough to bluff to be. Pika Pal's response wasn't confident enough to bluff being able to play Doom. Meanwhile, our number 3 seed left of the tournament, Piper, responding with a smiley face because they know how to play some Doom. They went incredibly hard on that game, and we will see what Game 1 is.
QQ.
You know, if I had the ability to expand it to top 16, maybe we could have seen Doom. But
maybe. All right, we're getting some Zelda. TGH and Alpha getting their wish over here.
I am so happy right now. I had a feeling. Hang on, I'm just gonna go into the Link's Awakening Discord and just at everyone real quick. Just know.
Just give us a second to make sure everything's set up, and then we will have the first race for you all. While Alpha pings everyone in the links.
I sure am doing that right now, or at least
you're full on gonna at everyone, aren't you?
Well, no, that's disabled on that server, so I'm just gonna at someone.
Can you at here?
I don't know if they allow that for non-mods on that server, but.
Oh, I have made all of my windows go away. I love that.
I see that there's a TGH that's happy in chat about Link's Awakening as well.
TGH is very happy. LADX was the only race that TGH played in because he's a simple man. He sees TGH, he clicks.
You mean he sees Link's Awakening? he sees his own name, he clicks on it.
Did I say he sees TGH, he clicks? Is that what I said? Oh,
that is pretty simple. I will give that. That is pretty simple. So
have you ever been
pretty good?
Have you ever been so narcissistic you click your own name every time you see it?
Is he just? I can only imagine like the look that you're getting right now.
He's across the room from me right now. No, he's coming over.
He's probably laughing his butt off right now.
Oh no. Okay, I'm getting a hug.
Honey, I love you. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh my goodness. Surprise TGH. Oh.
Okay. This is a good start.
Oh my god. I'm crying, dude. Oh no.
Breathe, Amber. Breathe.
I'm trying to breathe.
We're gonna make it through that. So for people, just because I won't have time really to talk about how this category works in its fullest effect, this is the any % no stew category. Stew being STWW, meaning system transitions or wrong warps. Meaning you can't wrong warp. There are a lot of ways to enter warps incorrectly in this game. Such as entering them backwards or, jumping over a warp that is coded so that you go through a transition. Actually, no, that's skipping a warp to system transition. You can't do that. System transition is if you're in D1, you're staying in D1, because there are 3 maps that are going to be accessed Normally, you have Overworld, Underworld 1, Underworld 2. Link's Awakening DX does also have Color Dungeon on a separate thing.
To cut in real quick, the easy explanation that's going to confuse less people is a system transition is when you switch between dungeons without leaving the map, or switch between an area without leaving the map and re-entering it.
Basically, once when you enter a system, or just like a cave or a dungeon, you are staying in that cave system and dungeon. You're not going somewhere else.
And exit through. Well, not so much exit. You could probably reset if you would want to exit, but you have to enter areas through their correct doors.
Yeah, and as long as they're, you can't accidentally go into like filler rooms and stuff like that. But, yeah, we will. Everyone's getting set up.
Once you're in those areas, the doors are not required. But
yeah, and there are, in fact, things called filler rooms in this game, which are technically not out. They're literally rooms that were dropped in by the devs, but they didn't like make them like this is the clear out of bounds room, and that's legal in base Link's Awakening, specifically for getting the level 2 bracelet. It's a really weird, convoluted thing that just makes it so that you don't have to do certain heinous things in order to complete the game. Basically everything, all of the categories for this game are defined so that people actually have fun playing the video game, because this is an absurdly broken game that, even though Link's Awakening Switch is hilariously broken, Grezzo still did. It's not held together with shoestrings and miracles like this is. But this is going to be fun. I have so many things to talk about that I'll probably never get to talk about again unless Piper is feeling real spicy.
Okay.
I enjoy that it was like, Railkun, we can't find another commentator for Saturday. Come help us out, because you know the games from the tutorials. I need help talking about games. And then the first game is one that Alpha can talk about.
Oh yeah, this is the one I can talk about. I've casted a Hundo tournament by myself, and the entire time I had 40 seconds to breathe because they were in the heart piece mode, and that's the only time I don't talk if I'm commentating 2 people. What? Okay, so I guess we're ready. Should I just should I get this race started?
I think so. Oh. Oh no, I can't. I'm still laughing at myself for earlier.
TGH I click.
Yeah.
Yep, and also One Up Joe.
Yeah,
Saint
it's
40.
been a strong start, Amber.
One Up Joe and Saint 40 are both good names.
They actually are. Like, someone needs to take those Twitch handles ASAP.
Pika-Pal saying, good to farm rupees for 10 minutes. Oh boy.
Just don't pull the lawnmower gif from last weekend on Twitter where it showed clearing the entire lawn and no rupee drops.
Yeah, that's unlikely. And if they're solid on their dupes, which this game has rupee duping, you can basically Link's sword, shield, have a separate hitbox for Link. Basically, it's like, oh, it's Link, but it's damage, and it's Link, but it's a shield. If you hit it on the same frame, and I guess it's also a 50-50 chance that it works, but it usually works.
Like Pika stretching against the table there.
Yeah, there's the opening movement in this game is actually incredibly tight, and it's probably like the most easy optimized part. As we see, Pika-Pal's going to the right, because I think Pika-Pal's brain broke for a second. I can't say that I've never done that before, because I think the last time I picked up this game, I did that immediately. But we'll see. Early sword here. You can just hold B. If you get really good at it, you can get it before the owl comes down. Pika-Pal's just did. That saves a minuscule amount of time. In theory, going from the left-hand side and pushing that spiny over is faster if you get the rupee drop, because you need 10 rupees. And okay, so One Up actually got that. It wasn't able to kill the spiny during the cutscene.
Oh no,
Pika-Pals did kill it, but if the rupee drop is there, yeah, the enemies on the beach have a 50-50 chance of dropping rupees. Specifically this area of the beach, and this is okay. Missed some dupes. Pika-Pals has gotten a lot of dupes. And the grass is worse. And you can rupee dupe here. It is frame perfect and also frame rule dependent. So meanwhile, it looked like 1UP was in a worse spot, but gets the rupee dupe, didn't even realize it.
Let's
go. Better
go.
luck on the grass.
Yeah, you know, just also didn't make the mistake of going to the wrong screen. Maybe Pika Pals will save time here dying. I don't actually know if it's any faster, but we gotta rob this guy. He moves on weird frame rules. It checks like X amount whether or not to move it. To the point where some of our fan game developers like to take this game and make him move once every frame, because before you pick up the sword, he actually moves once every frame, so you can't rob him. So you need the sword in order to steal. So we see a save and quit to get bombs. We'll see if they go for 1 set of bombs or 2 sets of bombs, and 1UP gets a little unlucky. It looks like they're both going for 1 set of bombs, and we have almost in sync, and this feels bad. Yeah, I was like a little concerned. Okay, here's Trendy Game. Yeah, you can get him without circling around. Some people have a setup as Pika Pals gets knocked away. That Fox can abuse the Fox, make Roku sad.
No, don't hit the Fox.
So, basically the setup for this, there's a very consistent setup. When the powder touches the top of the area, basically if you look at the right part where the the conveyor moving left and the conveyor moving up, if you see the crown of the powder touch that little barrier in between, that's when you press A if you've lined it up. You can do a faster powder. It's extremely minusculely faster, but it's not worth it ever because you're going to mess it up when the run matters. Then we're going to see some settings, some save and quit points.
I have some very important news for you, Railcoon.
What's that?
Thanks to some more recent discoveries in the Switch version of Link's Awakening, there is no longer any Fox abuse.
Yay!
Okay, how long does it take to set up the D-Force entrant, the key skip? Because I might consider if it's not...
I can check on that for you if you give me a second.
Just because it's not beating a Fox for 10 minutes while you skip a key.
I don't think it was 10 minutes before, but yeah.
It's not, but it feels forever. So here's bomb triggers. Basically, no bomb drops, and we're waiting for it. Pika Pal's trying to do the very fast one. There's a way to buffer every bomb trigger. Pika Pals might want to buffer. Okay, gets it. Didn't waste a lot of bombs, and 1UP did get 2 sets of bombs to be safe. Pika Pals, I believe, has to be bomb perfect, or come up with curious bomb routing now. But basically, you're putting down 2 bombs on the same screen, and the game doesn't know what to do, so it tries to load the next thing that it's, like, supposed to be slotted. And, you know, sometimes that's a Zol spawning, like, the next action that's supposed to be on that screen, provided the requirements are met. Putting keys in dungeons is very specific, you can't bomb trigger those. But that particular screen, the next thing that's supposed to happen in, like, that set is, well, the next cutscene or action to play is Terran transforming, so we skip needing to get the powder, but we grab it anyway because getting it from Trendy Game is faster than, at least in this category. There's one category where getting the mushroom is faster, and that is the no save and quit category. We sing a lot of sync right now.
Basically in sync right now, yeah.
Yeah, which is great. We haven't even gotten to like the worst glitches, but yeah, getting the powder from Trendy Game, which is required to enter D2, is faster. The no save and quit category, because of the way it has to get tail key, it is faster to get the mushroom and then do Moblin skip because you need X amount of money. It's weird. It's also the only category without rupee beach farming, basically, other than the meme categories that warp to the swamp.
I was about to ask which one of them's going to do the quick shield skip, and then Pika did it, and 1UP didn't.
Yeah, Pika went for the easier, just hold diagonal right into them. You take damage, which personally would be more scary because of this trick coming up, but you do get a fairy from Rolling Bones. As Pika Pals is not going for that skip, neither is 1UP. I cannot blame them at all. That is probably the second hardest trick in this entire run, and it can go very poorly. You can skip the big key in Dungeon 1 by clanking off of traps. You don't have to shoot an arrow there. But then again, arrow routing in this category is very light and lax, so we're fine.
He's just not unlocking the block.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not supposed to have the bow here. That does a lot of damage.
Yeah, the bow does just a tremendous amount of damage. But here's Moldorm, unironically the hardest boss in this entire game, because he does 1 heart of damage, and Pika Pal's not having a great Moldorm fight. You can take Moldorm down without Moldorm basically moving at all. So we won't see the crazy skip in Dungeon 1 clanking off of traps. Again, I really cannot fault people for not wanting to do that. That is an insanely hard skip. It saves 10 seconds, 15 seconds, something in that ballpark, and it is absolutely not worth it. Because if you mess it up, you're losing base. If you mess it up like more than twice, 1, you probably died and wasted a lot more time, and 2, it's just, it's so hard. If you want to see someone do that, go watch the showcase run I put on back in March. Just to talk about Railkin. Railkin learned all 7 out of 7 games on the Community Spotlight. I only learned 5 out of 7 because I couldn't make one of them, and I was teaching one of them. So, you know, Railkin better student attendance than me. How does that make you feel, Railkin?
When you put it like that, I don't know, because I was not a very good student. It's a good thing nobody assigned homework, because I hate homework.
I mean, I guess, yeah, I didn't really assign much homework. I just said learn Skyblazer because no one's skipping it. No one's gonna ban that game at all. Which is great because it's really fun to watch and I think all of our competitors really enjoy it. Okay. 1up48 was going back to make sure they were clipped into that wall. You don't need it, but it makes the jump a little easier. You are trying to skip the Heart Piece of Shame, which, you know you've gotten when you get a shameful text box that wastes 2 seconds.
We'll have to skip it again later, so...
Yeah. And 1up40, Moblin Cave not going. Pika Pal is very, very clean. Wanted to finish this off in... you can finish that room off in 1 spin slash if the stars align. So here's the first case of major RNG. The Moblin King can shoot anywhere between 2 and apparently 5 arrows. Some people have seen 5 arrows before. Pika Pal's getting a very good 7 arrow cycle. Not bad, that's about average. You can also fight him entirely along the right-hand wall, but that's kind of hard to do. Okay, according to TGH, the no whoop route fastest also gets a mushroom, but it's luck dependent. But yeah, the mushroom is an incredibly busted item in this game. And okay, Pika Pal's getting the, oh, you jumped at it, but you were like a little bit off of needing the jump to get it in 1up40. And oh, there we go, instant eat from Bow Wow.
Oh, for both of them.
For both of them. Why are they so good at
double
Bow Wow?
Eat for 1up. Wow, Bow Wow super hungry.
I'm so jealous of both of them.
So to explain for the audience while Alpha is being like just freaking out, well, how fast it takes Bow Wow to eat one of those flowers is just random. You just gotta hope for it. Sometimes Bow Wow isn't very hungry and you're sitting there and walking him around going, do you want this one? Want this one instead? Eat one, please.
Sometimes Bow Wow just like misses. Bow Wow can miss, and it's really bad feeling. So Pika Pal's not grabbing the backup powder there. You can do like a weird jump that makes you lose barely any time, and it's just a backup for later. Or if you're going for a very, very, very weird Dungeon 2 skip, you might want the extra powder, because otherwise you have a very small amount to do something later with. But yeah, the Hinox Eye weakness is the eyeball, so you shoot with arrows, it dies instantly. That's probably the strat. 1up wasted a bunch of arrows earlier, so I believe is going to do sword on the booze here. And yeah, so there's the one thing. All you have to do is get them off the screen, although that kills them. But yeah, they leave the screen. And Power Bracelet, and we will see which one of them is going for Spice. And okay, nobody is going for the very spicy skip, which I like to do because it was one of the things that I could show off. It saves a little bit of random. It's another like 5 to 10 second save that is just, it's incredibly hard and is very, very punishing if you miss it. And doing it later is free. Like, it is a super easy skip.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this run, just like...
I like how much of that there is in this run. It's one of the reasons I picked this. Also because I wanted a Zelda game, and we didn't have any, so they went over there to grab that warp that saves the backtrack to D4 later. That's faster in every category that you can save and quit in. And Peak Pals gets the swag jump. All you have to do is be on the right-hand side, and oh, 1-up does... That's technically a harder jump to skip that piece of heart, because it's got a big fat hitbox.
Yeah, but we've successfully skipped the heart both times.
Yeah,
for both players.
no one is to be shamed today. Everyone's doing it. Someone saying sometimes Bow Wows won't eat their vegetables.
I like 1-up's Bow
Don't know
Wow
if
is
flowers count as
taunting him with
vegetables.
all of these rupee drops when he eats stuff.
Yeah. The worst is, and this category doesn't go there, but there is the Armos Maze where Bow Wow can just decide in other categories that route Piece of Power, which is basically the only no save and quit category. But here's Villa Skip. The start menu does a lot of weird things. You can also do this with the mushroom. But basically, you pit buffer until you hear Link fall, and you'll see Link standing on the menu screen. And it is frame rule dependent, but then you just kind of zip down, and you skip needing to go to the best castle in the game, Candlelight Castle. And you just skip it. So, you know, Villa Skip. As now we're going to enter D3, which is...
Very informative, Alpha.
Oh, what?
Just that whole exchange. Oh yeah, and then now Pika Pals is going to unlock this from the wrong side.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm just seeing in chat someone talking about best 3, best 5. Best 5 is a lot. That'd be potentially like 5 hours of racing for a single person. Peak Pal's doing that room clean, not taking any damage. Yeah, you clip into the block and you have your sword out. Basically extends Link's hitbox weird. And these keyhole hitboxes are kind of all over the place. They're much bigger than the sprite. For all of them, basically. So you can do a lot of weird things. But Dungeon 3 is one of my favorite dungeons in the game to actually play through the whole thing. I don't think we'll see it, because there are 2 ways to skip this dungeon. They're all in the same room. We'll know probably which one they're going for, depending on how many small keys they grab. It looks like Pika Pals is going for the more difficult and very swag one. As is trying to get a super jump up here to skip the Dodongos. Dodongo snakes.
Is he trying to
He's
jump
not quite
off
getting
the
it.
Dodongos, or is he doing something else?
Yeah, so basically you're doing a super jump and clanking off the Dodongos, and it will propel you over this barrier's 1-up 40 gets it immediately. The spin slash method is more consistent. I guess Pika Pals just wasn't clipping correctly into the wall.
Yeah.
But that lets you skip the Dodongo snakes. You can do that off of P-hats as well, which is important in other dungeons that we won't do that in. But now they're heading to skip this dungeon. So if they hold down left or right here, they buffer up. That looks high. I don't like that line. Okay, they're fine. But, okay. Oh, just hyper-aggressive. Okay, I like it. I like it. Just 1-up, not letting that Stalfos. You may have to kill that Stalfos, depending on where it is, and then you wait for these guys to jump. Oh, he's doing my setup exactly. I'm happy about this. And, oh, doesn't get it. And I really hope punched that one Zol into the ground. That's unfortunate. Pika Pals' attempt right here. You jump, you wait here, you get up there, and then basically boots bonking kind of sets your sub-pixel, and then, yeah, there you go.
And then you make it over the wall, because
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, so killing that Stalfos can just be in a really nasty spot, and this is one of the reasons you need a lot of arrows. The other way to do this is to bird bonk, okay, might be able to boots over, because boots kind of advances you 1 pixel, and that's really unfortunate, because that is a soft block there. That will be a re-enter for 1-up 40. If they know any of the other strats, which I did outline in the tutorial, they can grab a key, and just try and skip that. But this is not a... It costs like an extra minute to not do this. And based on arrow count, I think almost finishing the dungeon is more beneficial, but... because then you'll also have another heart later. But we will see how this ends up going.
Yeah, there's more hard
As
skips
weird.
for Pika coming up, so even though 1-up's fallen behind here, could definitely catch it up if he can get through this quickly.
Yeah. They need to kill the bird. They should have killed the bird. The bird will probably drop a heart. I think also just killing the other Zols in the room. Because now they're down a lot of arrows.
Bomb trigger this long cutscene here.
Yeah. And hopefully did that in a manner. I don't know if they did the buffer. There is a. Did he buffer before entering the screen?
It looked like it, yeah.
Okay. So that's good. Doing that buffer will make that consistent.
Because the big deal is if you don't buffer this one, well, if you don't do this one correctly, you can soft lock, right?
Yeah, you can soft lock really bad. Because basically, you won't exit the screen correctly, and that screen loads when all actors have left. I would have gone back for that. I would have gotten that heart and then fallen into the pit. And yeah, so you lose control of all your buttons when doing that skip. And this one should be good from 1-up.
Like Pika hugging the cactus for the death abuse there.
Yeah, so that one gives you less iframes than enemies. Enemies give you forever, and you want to take a ton of damage, so you really are hoping that, one, Bow Wow doesn't eat any of those, the buzz blobs. And okay, we see text, no text skip. You can do that room fast enough, but get an angler key here.
And 1-up got through that pretty quickly once got back in there, so...
Yeah. It's still a hefty time loss, but there are other tricks and other things that can go wrong. Dungeon 5 and Dungeon 7 both feeling that way. This category has 3 very scary tricks, and apparently I've learned that one of them has a frame-perfect turn in it, depending on how you do your setup. Meanwhile, I listen for audio cues on it, so... Because you have to basically turn instantly with the boots to get it. That's later. But, you know, we need the ability to, swim. So... Oh, good jump. You can shack jump off of that, which basically, is naked super jumping with no weapon. You can do it against any push block, which is good. But that setup is a little bit trickier because your inputs have to be very rapid.
Enemies being mean there to Pika.
Yeah. Dungeon 4 can kind of go poorly if you make a few mistakes, because again, for this run, in case you just haven't noticed, you have a lot of, one is significantly ahead. Pika Pals is pretty ahead right now. Okay, so 1-up should be fine, and all they have to do is hold left. But this whole run, like, they might have one more heart container. I don't think anybody's gonna skip Facade. And, Jesus jumping, right here. Basically, if you pause on the frame that you hit water, you have a tile to act. And you transition to the very bottom of the screen, because it pushes you down. You want to be clipped into the wall so you can immediately jump, but Pika Pals was, I think, like a pixel too high, and didn't quite clip into the wall, or, like, held something, so they fell into the water anyway. Not a bad pattern there. That's what you want to see. Get the flippers. Yet another broken item.
I just enjoy that this game is the adventures of Link and his pet dog, Bow Wow, that he totally didn't steal from Madame Meow Meow.
Yeah, it's fine.
And Bow Wow is not done with doing nonsense either. We're gonna have some fun Bow Wow stuff later.
Yeah, Bow Wow does some absolute nonsense later in the run.
Yeah. Or at least you hope he does.
Yeah, trying to get him to eat is, it's always
one I'm thinking of, he does it if you set it up correctly, so cross your fingers.
Yeah, you have to set it up correctly in order to do it. So the reason why we're splitting Dungeon 4 is there are 2 triggers in Dungeon 4 to spawn the ghost. Or there's a way to basically when you beat the dungeon, you spawn a ghost unless you have the level 2 power bracelet. But that's out of the way. So we're just gonna get the flippers and go do Dungeon 5 and Dungeon 6, because the other trigger that spawns the ghost is a Y coordinate. If you go more than 4 tiles south, you will spawn the ghost, and this room is not going well for Pika Pals. The Helmosaurs suck. They're probably everyone's least favorite enemy, who runs this game sometimes. They're just very mean. But here is a skip, and we're gonna see how Pika Pals does it. I don't like Pika Pals' height, but gets the... Yeah, I didn't like Pika Pals' height there. Basically, the boots let you do some fun super jumps, and did Pika Pals have boot speed there?
Yeah, he did.
And gets it. Second try, very good. That saves a lot of time. We might see 1UP go for the other version of that, or the other skip there, and I'm a little curious as to why they went and used the their arrow there. Although they don't really need any arrows for
You mean
a
1UP
while.
or Pika?
1UP. They had 1 arrow left. He had 1 arrow.
Save time by bomb arrowing the block. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think you need another arrow. I'm not sure. And oh, 1 buffer. Oh yeah, mashing the jump button is in fact faster there. So what you did as a child is validated. Just in case.
I
You
mean,
didn't
even
know.
even if it was even on time, people would spam it anyway.
Yeah. I think some people would spam it even if it was slower, just because, like, you lose a frame every time you do that. Not going for the super jump out, it's a little bit slower, just because you have to push that block, and also you do get slowed down by water. Water does decrease your movement speed, and oh yeah, here's super swimming. When you clip into a ledge that you can jump off of, and you kind of swim into it, you do weird things. You basically don't collide with anything except for ground effects. And okay, so this is a strategy TGH came up with. That is slower than 3rd try horse heads, which means on average it's faster. But you know,
it also means not having to deal with horse heads at all, which I completely
it
approve
loses
of.
an equip later, depending on how you do it. You don't have boots to get that 1 arrow pickup that you kind of want, but like it does make some things a bit off. But you know, it's nice. And now let's see if we get horsehead world record here. No.
Oh.
That was the first try. That's good.
That's the other end of the spectrum, like horsehead world record.
Okay, and just seeing this now, we are not going to see anybody attempt facade skip. Do not blame them. It is 10 seconds faster. You lose a heart container, and basically, unless you can mash perfectly, you'll lose at minimum 5 seconds, but more likely 10 seconds if you mess it up. And it is absolutely not worth going for because it is hilariously inconsistent.
1UP's doing that jump that we saw earlier for Big Pals.
Yeah. And hopefully gets it relatively quickly. We want to keep this a nice, quick match. Close match. I think should be okay. Yes.
Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah, I was looking at it and I'm like, I think that Salphos fell higher because they got stuck on the crystal. There's a whole bunch of very consistent setups there, which is good. We're still not done with like the terrifying skips or ways to save time, but we are running out of them. There's basically only Dungeon 7 left, and going for the very easy setup to clip into this block here, and is basically going to do a super hop here, where you try to super jump as late as possible. I think it's too high, and okay, does not. Unfortunately, gets owled. You want to super hop there, and then you want to let go of everything. So you just plop right in the water, you don't do anything, and that will let you super swim without entering the screen, so you don't get owled.
Do you have your owl orb handy for that, Amber, since he just got owled?
Oh my goodness, my owl stress ball like has fallen behind a dresser and I can't move the dresser yet to get it out.
Oh no!
It'll be happening this summer though, but I need to save the owl. Speaking of saving
Pika
animals,
Pals
by the way, we've got Bow Wow.
Yeah, Pika Pal's heading up to see if Bow Wow is hungry today.
Yeah, I feel okay. So this could theoretically go poorly. I don't think it will. This is Rooster Skip. You skip Rooster Skip by going out of bounds. And this is only scary because if you do an input wrong, you'll transition into the wrong screen, and you'll end up in the cave where you get the magnifying lens normally. Because again, this game, if you look at the underworld maps, it's really hefty, and
oh no,
4 horse heads.
1UP.
Horse heads, please. Oh, there we go.
Okay, yeah, this is good horse heads.
1UP didn't skip the first set of horse heads and actually got pretty good RNG on those.
Yeah, so actually it's probably about even with Pika Pals because of the slower setup. But also, I don't think could afford to skip that because when they didn't have arrows at the time.
Yeah. I just want to mention that, like, if y'all think this Facade fight is a joke, you haven't seen Facade's return as a mini-boss in the Oracle games, where he can be defeated even long before his fight starts.
Yeah, the
randomizer
Super
Swim in the dungeon.
One of the two, I guess technically like 4, but one of the 2 main randomizers for this game has boss randomizer, and you can fight Facade in the anglerfish tunnel.
I've had to fight that, and it's awful. Oh my god.
It's also if, you know, some certain person who is probably watching, and I'm throwing tons of shade at right now, doesn't turn off forced boundaries, is a legitimately impossible fight. So, it's not the hardest Facade fight ever. I've had 2 worse, but it is terrifying.
There's a pixel that you can swim in that fight in the randomizer if you're fighting Facade in Angler's Arena.
How hungry is Bow
Wow? Eat that cutscene.
Didn't get Bow Wow into position. Bow Wow was very far to the right.
Not hungry today.
Basically, if you go up all the way to the left, that's when you'll see it. But Bow Wow can eat cutscenes. Then I don't even know if 1UP went for it, but isn't that far behind? I'd say maybe about 1.5 minutes, which is about... It can be made up. You know, it's not the most likely in the world, but can be made up.
I mean, all it really takes is if Pika Pals messes up one of the jumps in the later dungeons, has to reset the dungeon.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think you can mess up D8 in this category. This is the... Okay, so it doesn't go for the shack jump or the super swag bomb trigger where you bomb trigger this room off of that wall, which is just, it's just the coolest thing in the world. I love that bomb trigger so much.
I still remember being mad when I found out that bomb triggers act like the metal ball on the pillars, because I hated this dungeon casually.
In fairness, with super jumps and what you can do with airborne bracelet, the ball strategies for this dungeon are really cool.
That is fair.
Although you only ever need to know them for the rando when you end up entering there without a Okay, so this is Dungeon 7's skip. This is... It feels really hard to do, just because sometimes you're not 100% sure why you didn't quite get into the right position. I like Pika Pals there, and yeah, gets it. And then menus here, so they zip correctly and just kind of moonwalk there.
Yeah, that was probably the last big thing for Pika Pals to potentially mess up and give 1UP a big opportunity.
I see Xander typing into chat saying, "I hope I like ball strats," because I have a feeling, because he made a version of this game that is very difficult. I've been playing it recently, and I'm almost certain he did weird things to that ball. But yeah, so 1UP40 is going places. Not sure. Yeah, so here's Dungeon 8.
I mean, this story really
didn't
is
go to Dungeon 7, right?
Link taking a very hungry dog on a walk.
Yeah, 1UP40 didn't go to Dungeon 7, right?
Not yet, no?
Yeah, okay, so there's a route divergence. But this is why I don't think Pika Pals can mess up Dungeon 8. Where do you recover from this? Because I have to think about how, by slashing your sword and going through that transition, you can super swim and then lava swim. But there's Dungeon 8. It's like 20 seconds long. Yeah, so, I guess the fastest way for 1UP to recover might be to re-enter. It's either going all the way to the right or to re-enter Dungeon 8, know how to get to the warp, and no, it's definitely faster to just go all the way to the right. Hopefully remembers they didn't do Dungeon 7.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's just a forgot Dungeon 7 thing.
They do have to go back and do Dungeon 2, though. Although, again, with the boots, this is a very free thing. But also, just so people are aware, the hitboxes on these flowers, if you can clip into walls, they're not real. You don't have to wait for Bow Wow here, you can menu, but this is one of the reasons why doing this in one go is faster. You also save 2 screen transitions. But the trick is much harder.
Yeah, when we did the race of this, I think it was only TGH that did Dungeon 2 in one go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
That was, honestly, when I was doing it, that was the first trick that I learned, because I was learning off of Carl Johnson, and that was what he did, so that's what I decided to do. So, you need some powder here, and that lets you stun this, and basically you throw it up against this pot, you run down here, you clip into the lantern, and you just... okay, you do it with sword, sure. Sword made it scary because you can bat the P-hat away. Or not the P-hat, the Pole's voice away. If you don't line that up correctly. Well, it was fine.
Yeah, and it looks like it's even right now, but 1UP has skipped Dungeon 7.
1UP is... Yeah, gotta go do Dungeon 7.
I'm not sure if this was intentional or not. So 1UP still has to
Yeah.
go back and do Dungeon 7.
Is opening, has a chance to see that they don't have the 7th instrument in their inventory. It does not go up. Does know that they missed it.
Okay.
They may have realized it at a point where, like, turning around wasn't going to be beneficial. I guess that's just, you have to make a call in the moment. This will
piece of
help.
power.
Piece of power. We do see one of them. It is now pizza time, but we're gonna be quiet.
Oh, is 1UP gonna eat the cutscene? Yeah, he got it.
E.
Alright, so now the song is over.
Yeah.
What 1UP did was lined up a Bow Wow so that as soon as the cutscene spawns, it's a sprite for some reason. Bow Wow moves over and eats it. And then you screen transition, come back, and the dungeon's open.
Yeah, and just so people are aware, cutscenes have like a 50% drop rate for hearts.
Yeah.
So bomb triggers can happen to a lot of things. Yeah.
You can get a heart one. Bow Wow eats a cutscene.
Yeah, I've actually had that have me save a run for me. So to talk about how these bomb triggers, all 4 of these rooms with the pillars are in the same like sector with this Zol spawn is the next action, so you have to spawn the Zol in order to do these bomb triggers, and there's the swag bomb trigger. That's my favorite. So you have to kill that, and you can do bomb triggers off of pits. Basically, as long as you have 2 bomb animations happening kind of at the same time, stuff happens.
And this one's important, because by getting that bomb trigger, you've despawned the music, and now you can do this whole thing with RNG manipulation.
Yeah, so there is an app we have, and PikaPals looks like they're using it. Basically, you'll never see any of Aghanim's blue balls if it's done correctly. But it doesn't look like they got it. So basically, they do that so they manip the RNG so that they'll have a consistent blob quick kill. Because basically you enter this room and the RNG value is always a certain number. And you roll it by slashing your sword, and you can pick up and drop bombs and manners that mean that you don't slash your sword, and good P-hat clank there. For 1UP is going to be entering the exit D7 soon.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Pika got the music despawn, appeared to be going for the RNG manipulation, but must have just not been standing in the correct position for 1UP.
1UP was too far to the left, unfortunately. And it's like you have to know exactly what your weird values are for this room. Like this room is just weird and awful. Yeah, just reset it.
There we go, reset the room.
Yeah, so here's Moldorm. Doesn't get the Moldorm quick kill.
Yeah, this is a safe way of killing Moldorm, just jumping over, getting the tail. I think this is what he did on the original Moldorm fight as well.
Yeah. Although you can just hit Sunlock him at a corner, like, the entire time.
Very low on health here, Pika.
Yeah, I'm not...
Making me side-eye that
so
health.
this is gonna be hard. So if this is Death Eye, Deathel, as is the properly named one, but they decided to change it to an I from a lowercase l. But this fight can go very poorly depending on RNG. And some people like to get him on the lower corner because you never really want to jump left or right. You only want to jump up or down. Yeah.
Hello? Open your eye!
You sleepy jerk!
Doesn't get the 2 cycle.
Yeah, this guy has cost me a 36 in this category. He did this.
Death Eye out here being a sleepy skip it.
Peak Pal's going for the safe cycle.
Oh!
Not wasting arrows, yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you gotta do them sideways. Or like this. Because you gotta bring the bomb with you into the next screen, so it's not close enough if you do it facing down.
Also, that's gonna be GG for game 1 on Pika Pal's side.
Yeah, 1 up, 3 or 4 minutes away. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it was scary. Pika Pals could have died there and had to redo the entire fight.
But to say nothing for consistency, that was 15 seconds faster than Pika Pals' race time.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Whereas 1 up, not going to beat theirs. They had a 39.45. Pika Pals had a 38.48. And again, I have a feeling that 1 up said this was probably easier to try to get down to, you know, save that minute.
Yeah.
Than it would be to get cut 5 minutes from Katamari.
Yeah,
which is why I'm
unfortunately,
not
1 up
surprised
just
at all.
had a bunch of small mistakes and then having to reset that dungeon on top of that. Just
Yeah, honestly,
put him really far
a lot
behind.
of this is the fallout from Dungeon 3. They lost a ton of time there. And then also, you know, the just the fall at the end of or they went to the wrong dungeon for D2. But you know, the one thing I don't like about this bomb trigger is this bomb trigger is entirely mashing. You can't buffer it, or you can basically crash the game. And you have to mash it. But when you miss it, there is a backup strategy for the blob quick kill. I think I outlined it in the video. I don't remember. It's hard, but it's RNG. So you're just hoping. Not even gonna do powder sword. At least go powder sword in that menu. Get the menu twice anyway.
He got a bomb in, but it did not despawn the music. So
yeah, it is. You have to mash. The mashing is hard. It's one of the reasons why some people like to get the safety powder. But now we get to listen to, like, one of the best tracks in the entire game, so... It's honestly my least favorite part of the speedrun, that you skip it if you're being optimal. I think the only category that doesn't is any %, but you're also fighting any % no ACE. You're also fighting with 3 heart containers, no feather, and 20 arrows.
I do enjoy that it's still called the blue orb, even though it's not blue in this version. Just because that's what everybody already calls it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, there was no color in the original Link's Awakening, so you know. It's still a solid time. This is a very hard category.
Alright, when we get to the Moldorm
Tried to
kill-
go for it. Did spin slash early. This Moldorm is like the knockback on this Moldorm is different than the original Moldorm. So this is like both an easier and more annoying fight because like some of these slashes that 1-Up is getting, the regular Moldorm would just send you like all the way like across the room if you slash there, but only like his head does that now.
When you get Moldorm,
Now
that
we're
was
fighting
actually a little bit
Ganon.
better than Pika Pals, I think.
Yeah, Ganon is definitely at 2.5 hearts. 4, 5, 6, 7. I would start dodging. I would not want to mess around with 2.5 hearts. Gets it.
Alright, let's see if the eye will be kind.
It never is. Only has 20 arrows, can only afford to miss 4. You can theoretically get 5 arrows in a cycle. Takes it all the way there to the right-hand wall, and it's now pulling him back over to the left. I guess, oh, didn't like him in that corner, even though it makes it so easy. All you have to do is jump up and down.
Oh, only got 1 arrow.
1 arrow missed. Okay, can only afford to take a hit from the face. That's 2 arrows missed. Basically, you only ever want to move up and down. You never want to move elsewhere.
Oh, it's been much nicer
Very
with the
nice eye so far. That was a very nice eye.
Complete opposite
Very
of
nice.
Pika Pal's boss.
Yeah, that boss can ruin everything. If you want to not have to deal with that RNG, you play 100%, where you just boomerang it once, or skip the entire fight with an ocarina. This game has so many glitches that you normally never see, which is why the rando is fun, because you get to use all of them. You can full clear Dungeon 7 with bombs and a bracelet.
Yeah, definitely, like, while the two runners had, like, 1-Up got caught up on, what was it, D3 skip?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was D3 skip. Despite that, like, they were still very, very close together, in spite of that. So, definitely big GGs, and, like, Pika Pals is probably, I think Pika Pals had the second best time out of the group. Second best being, like, TGH, like, was the one who won that
world
race.
record 2 days before race kind of person.
Yeah.
So, very good. Glad we got to see it. You know, and I don't necessarily know if we'll see it again. Depends on what Piper's feeling. Because I think JD only wants to play 1 of 5 games, doesn't care what we're going to see. But
Yeah, but now we've got... Well, I'm curious if we're going to see SMB2 before Skyblazer, or if it's just going to be Skyblazer.
I feel like 1-Up probably wants to go to SMB2.
SMB2, there it is. Yep. SMB2, who is the loser of Game 1, does get to pick the second game, and if we go to Game 3, we will play Skyblazers. But it looks like we are playing SMB2, which is the Game 3 that 1-Up and St. Joe did last weekend. And 1-Up, despite having a game over in SMB2, definitely knows his Mario.
All right, we're just going to need a minute or two for both players to get this loaded up and be ready to go. Pika Pals is up 1 point. This is a best of 3, so only needs 1 more. We'll see if 1-Up 40 can, you know, do that avatar proud and win the Super Mario Brothers race, even things up.
Yeah, I actually don't remember what Pika Pals thought of SMB2. Do you have that information, Alpha?
I sure do. Give me 1 second while I pull that up here. I can let you know what that is. So, as I just, you know, real quick, set goal. Do that real quick. So let me just go to over here, click a couple things. I know a lot of people were saying that a lot of these games were hard, though. That's one thing I definitely remember. Just the SMB2 was definitely, like, some people were very stressed about it. Peak Pals, let's see. Oh yeah, first one, let's see. Peak Pals. Better than SMB1. Was what Peak Pal's statement was, and that's in reference to Peak Pals also went very far in season 2. That was held like 3.5, 4 years ago. And SMB1 was the first game in that one, and that was played once, surprisingly, against LK, who I think on a bad day would still beat everybody who was in the top 16 in SMB1. But that game, things can go way swingier, even though you technically have infinite continues, just because going fast is really, really hard and warpless. But yeah, Peak Pals better than SMB1. So I wasn't sure how to take it, but I'm not 100% sure. It was really like, did anybody want to play Doom? Does anybody want to go and fix that one? I don't know. Maybe JD wants to play Doom against Piper.
It might help if I we're not playing LADX. It might help if I actually get that correctly. This is SMB2. That was 1980. Which 80? 1988.
I don't know. I'm doing Cruppin.
Yeah, I
off
feel
the top
that.
of my
In
head.
addition to the race room.
Sounds about right.
Yes, Super Mario Brothers 2 YSA. It was 1988. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is what happens when the two people you have with commentary are... One of them
Also
is working on the
helping-
dashboard and one of them is doing the stream.
Yes.
We both go quiet.
Exactly. Or like one of them is messaging the runners or whatever.
But we
And this
should
is
be ready
all
here
levels.
pretty soon, it looks like.
Yeah.
All right.
If you want to transition over to that, they're almost ready, and I'm like, all right, I'm not holding it up.
Pika is waiting
Yes.
on the player selection, which is not where you're supposed to wait, right?
Yeah, do you want to reset basically the second you know that the race is gonna start? Which they have a 10-second time countdown, but we'll see. Maybe it doesn't matter, and the only reason you would not want to do that is if you're looking for certain RNG. But when you're doing Luigi starts, I don't think it matters.
No, okay, we're fine. They still synced.
Yeah, I think because the main reason why people reset time starts when you pick your first character,
Oh,
but
is it?
they
Okay.
just you reset basically because you're looking for very specific patterns through the entire game. But unless your name is Cool Kid, I don't think that matters. So you know, so you see Pika Pal's up to an early lead because One Up missed like half a jump. But this game is unforgiving and forever, so we will see how this ends up panning out.
Neither of
Let's
them
move on
going
to our first
for
prototype.
the Shy Guy clip.
Yeah, you're not going to do it with Luigi, you fall too long.
It is interesting to see both of them went for Luigi here. It means probably not going to see a lot of Toad from both of them if you're not seeing Toad on the first level.
Well, I honestly, Toad first level is significantly harder than Luigi, because to do it faster than Luigi, you have to get a double jump.
Mhm.
And I don't think you're gonna, like, that's hard.
Well, you can.
I won't be
You can do
surprised
the
if we
super
see...
jump and then the clip, and it's basically even, which is what a lot of people did in the race.
Yeah, but I'd still say Luigi is, like, safer then,
Mhm.
if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if we see someone try to farm lives here, but Pika Pals doesn't. One Up didn't last week, so I don't expect it anymore. And it looks like Pika Pals got there on a bad egg cycle. Birdo shoots eggs like once every 4 seconds as a global cycle, so if you get there, you know, if you miss the boss, the next egg's coming later.
Something about a bus stop.
Yeah, something about a bus stop. It's like a frame rule, only it's just a global timer. Oh yeah, I see someone typing in chat. If you have any ideas for next season of games that I should put in, and literally I will take any game. If you looked at the genres of games that they're the same, there aren't any. And like the only game genre I probably wouldn't consider is puzzle, because as a speedrun, I don't enjoy giving people arthritis. So, and okay, we see Pika Pals. I know 1UP skipped this last week. Pika Pals is going for the Shy Guy clip here, and is far enough to the right. That is very hard to do.
Yeah, there is a consistent setup for it.
Yeah, I found a weird setup where you don't have to get the first throw. If you take the Shy Guy a platform below, you can just walk off with him. Which is, the throw, in my opinion, is the hardest part of that trick. But of course it's slower than, just never stop moving.
Good mouser fight for Pika.
Yeah, very good fight. We'll see how 1UP does in this room. This room is terrifying. Pika Pals did that with 1 health, which, I think is just brave, because it's so hard to do.
And for people who missed the SMB2 stuff before, especially with Toad, whenever you're carrying anything, enemy, turnip, whatever, you just run faster. So you'll see any of these Toad levels, they just want to pick something up and carry it while they're running across the huge sections. And we'll see if Pika goes for the quick. Is this the one where you can get the star and get the quick kill? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, I think the digging patterns right now, if he cuts hard to the right, okay, yeah, the digging patterns were to avoid Shy Guys from being just the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Wonder if they'll get if they get that cherry, they'll get it. I think was thinking about going back for the cherry, but has decided not to. Yeah, they must have missed a cherry somewhere.
Yeah, they might not have had
where is it?
one of the cherries at the start of the level. I wasn't watching too closely.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to pick up, I think, 2 before you go in the door. Then you get 3 while digging.
Yeah. 1UP went for it last time, I think, and got it. It's a pretty hard trick to do while also dodging all of the Shy Guys.
Yeah.
And digging in this game is just hard in general.
And that sniff it right there is just such a pain.
Oh, okay, I can't believe you actually dodged that.
Wow, yeah, that was real scary.
I am literally in awe. So we see a princess level here. This level is just impossible, so taking it as princess, you can float over everything that's impossible, which is good. And princess doesn't dig any slower, which is fine. Everybody has the same digging speed. Except for, I guess, technically Luigi, because Luigi falls so slowly.
Yeah, and this one you do want to make sure you're wiggling back and forth a little bit, or else one of the Shy Guys can drop on top of you before you get the star. It can be a little bit annoying.
Yeah, the star just kind of helps out the end. Then you have to go fight, a Birdo that you're hoping that you can get a multi-hit on. Let's see if Pika Pals goes for it. I believe 1UP did not go for a single multi-hit last week. Oof. Weird egg positioning. And doesn't look like we'll see any such shenanigans from Pika Pals, but still a clean fight. Took a hit which wasted a very small amount of time, as 1UP actually did Toad 2-2 off on the side. So that's fast. So that's gonna make up some time, just because Princess is so much slower.
He almost had that Shy Guy drop on top of his head, and he
I
had
was watching for that. And the second the screen scrolled and it stopped existing,
yeah.
I was less worried.
It was pixels away from dropping on top of him before the screen scrolled, though.
Yeah, so that obviously makes this fight a lot easier, because Toad is fast. Oh, I guess technically that counts as double hit. That probably lost the amount of time 1UP would have made up for just picking Toad. Princess is slow.
Oh, hit the egg, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised I'm not seeing any of the more aggressive double hit strats. Just because I think at least some of them aren't super difficult or challenging. Especially if you have an extra heart, you might as well go for it, because dodging Birdo isn't the hardest. So, grabs that first B, did do that manip there, that gets that B low. Or is it Bezo? One of the two.
I don't know.
I think they're Bezos. They're all worth several $trillion.
Wow. That was awful, Alpha.
Listen, the name is basically the same. It's shifted by one letter.
Right, he's gonna try the... Yeah, there we go, the little baby throw.
I like the variant that 1-Up goes for just because I think it's easier. So this is, I'm a little surprised Pals is doing this as Toad, just because this is like, this level is so hard as Toad.
It's the Luigi level, like...
Well, Luigi's also like hard because the platforms are just like not quite high and low enough at the same time.
Yeah.
That his falling speed matters.
But also, like, Luigi makes climbing off of that kind of stuff easier. We have one very, very specific Luigi level, and we'll see if both of them go for it. Because last time we had SMB2, I don't remember which competitor it was, I actually didn't pick Luigi on the big bird, riding the bird level, you know?
I think that was 1-Up, and it was just, like, I felt like it was just they mashed through it, and forgot that they were entering 6-2. As we see, Princess for 3-2, very standard, as, yep, another Toad level.
Yeah, this is the
only a 1-level separation, and this game can
level.
still go very wrong. Yeah, this is why I don't like Toad, is you don't quite have a high enough jump. I really liked the strat that, that 1-Up pulled off there last week. As we see these ladder jumps to get up there. Being on the ladder is what triggers the warp, so just jumping past it, is nice. 1-Up saving some time on that vine climb by riding the carpet longer.
Yeah, this is the one required princess level, because you gotta be able to float across that gap to do this level fast.
Yeah. And
it
nobody
did look
else
like
can
Pals
basically
borrowed
skip the
one
entire level.
strat there with the turnip and picking up the turnip again, if you saw that.
I did miss parts of it. They didn't do it at the very start, that I could remember. And then this is the Mario level. Mario jumps higher to make this level a lot easier than Toad, and you need to pick stuff up, so it's better than Luigi and Princess.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, like that strat right there. It's so good looking at the start.
Yeah, Pika got that, but didn't get both the riders with it. Missed the second throw, so I had to use the POW.
Yeah. I really like it. It's so clean looking. And going for the not double jump, you know. There's a hyper aggressive Mario strat, and actually is kind of going hyper aggressive by skipping that door. Because if something happens and this goes wrong, it has to redo the whole room now. I actually liked when I was watching Joe do this, just went from the bottom, but I guess it's just easy to hold, brighten up, and falls. I always get nervous around those snippet bullets, because when they're falling, like, my brain is just telling me that they are going to, they still have active hitboxes.
Yeah, they feel like there should be an active hitbox still, and you kind of try to dodge them even though you don't need to.
So I'm wondering, I haven't paid attention to Pals' cherry count, and I do, like, if he goes for it, I'm going to lose my mind. Okay, he's not going for the wrong warp into Mauser quick kill, which is super cool, but, you know, it's so hard. And doesn't look like 1-Up is going for that safety. Did last week, but doesn't want it this week. Probably his faith they can get to the top of this room really quickly. This Mauser fight can be a little tricky, but once you learn, like, okay, where he's standing right now and where you had to pull the bomb, because he basically repeats the same pattern every time, but he ends in a different spot each time, so you just have to know, okay, when he starts here, where is he going to be?
Yeah, this one might even be a little bit easier, even though it seems like it might be harder, just because in the previous one he throws the bombs so much faster. You have to keep track of, are you picking up a new bomb or an old bomb for where you're placing them?
Yeah, and okay,
This one you're just catching them straight from him.
4-1 Toad is hard.
It is.
4-2 Toad is hard. 4 is just a really hard world, coupled with, like, an awful boss. Like, that was the boss as a kid that just, like, it was impossible. And maybe it was because I was always fighting him as Luigi, because I just, like, I went to that level as, like, Luigi or Princess or whatever, because they could float or whatever. And I never went in the first door, I just kept going. I'm like, oh, there's 3 doors, I wonder what's in those other towers, but I found the boss, so I never went anywhere else. Or maybe I tried the other ones, I was just checking out all the doors or whatever. Takes a hit at the end, but still gets through.
I am not surprised we're not getting a 4-2 Toad here.
4-2 Toad came out for 1-up last week.
It's hard, though.
It was looking good. Yeah, this part in particular, I hate this part. Like, I mean, I know they not only, like, are the same, and come in a pattern, you can always react to them, but I just hate it.
Yeah, this level is
gets a
so
fast
hard.
rocket there for 1-up. Was there quick enough. Rockets are, you know, your frame rule things, and ooh, takes a hit from the whale. Might mean Pika Pals has to slow down, but you can go pretty quickly on this bottom part. 4-1 ending with Toad in this level is fun, though. 1-up does that really clean as Pika's moving on. Hopefully grabbed a cherry somewhere, but might be a little hard. With Princess, this is going to be a little bit easier to grab, because you can float. But, okay, it goes into a good spot. And then the hardest part about this, and that's going to cost Pika Pals.
Accidentally floated. Oh, barely got it.
Yeah. That was very, very, very lucky.
Pika accidentally canceled the super jump with a float, it looked like.
Yeah, because you have the star, you can't see, so you have to mentally time it. And I guess just did it early/late enough, and Pika Pals going for the backup mushroom so Fry Guy doesn't ruin his life.
Yeah.
I can respect the hell out of that. You know, I was looking for that backup mushroom, and I don't know, I found a different one. Yeah. This is giving 1-up time to catch up. Grabs a cherry there, so I guess missed one earlier. Did, in fact. Is waiting for that same lineup. Gets it.
I do like that safer strat of just letting the cannon bounce off the wall instead of going straight for the star.
That was very consistent looking.
Because both of them did
so here's
that.
Fry Guy. Fry Guy is...
So Fry Guy you can technically have a consistent setup for, but it is so tight. Like, if you miss the timing on any of your throws, then you've lost your consistent setup and you have to react.
Yeah, and, like, this part, okay, this is really bad because they're all up. Oh, okay, no, he didn't take one out.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes it harder is that they get faster each time.
He's got a wall. That's good.
Okay, he does have a wall. They get faster and jump higher each time, and that actually gives a lot of time for 1-up to catch up. 1-up is entering Fry Guy now, and if has a better fight, can catch up immediately. You can, like, get double hits on Fry Guy. It's such a weird fight.
Nice hit.
Nice hit.
This is what's scary, is when they're split between left and right on the split screen.
Yeah. Okay, hits 1.
Yeah, I like this. Staying high.
It's a wall. Okay,
oh, no, that's not a real wall. Yeah, okay. We're fine.
Are we?
Yeah, we're fine. If he plays this safe, he's got it. Just don't take any risks.
Okay. Woo! Okay, so let's see. Okay, not going for the super swag multi-hit thing on this Birdo. You have to be really fast. Well, it's actually fast enough to be able to get it, but, yeah, I'd save a little bit of time there, not going for that safety mushroom, and we'll see what safeties Pika Pals takes later. In the regular season race, I think Pika Pals got a 5-hit on, oh god, why am I forgetting the name of the crab?
I don't know. He's just the crab to me. I'm bad at names.
He's a crab.
Abandoned monkey become grab.
Someone save me. I can remember every claw grip. That's it. I had to think for a minute. It's the one that's like not a fun name.
Alright. Pika-Pals. Okay, I was gonna say.
Take to death there. That's a rough death. We'll see if Pika-Pals can clear through this room. It wasn't too bad, but like you still feel bad for taking it. Because you entered this room with 2 health and took 2 shots from Birdo. And let's see, Pika-Pals should know where all the spikes are. It's not that hard to react to it. Luigi loses a bunch of time on this level, for this part specifically.
He did gain some of the time by getting those ladder jumps, but...
Yeah, and also not dying. 1-Up did die.
Oh no!
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a stressful Birdo fight, no matter how you look at it.
Also just because... It's weird, because Luigi's pickup animation is slower, but that means that it's easier to...
Oh, and there's the death.
It's easier to invincibility frame through stuff by picking up the egg, but
yeah,
the jumping to time on the egg is harder with Luigi.
Really good ladder jumps out of 1-Up just repeatedly. Again, Luigi's a big window on them. Oh, now it's messing them. It's the second I say got like really good ones.
The fish, because you can pick up the fish and throw it at Birdo.
Yeah, the fish is... Oof. A little worried there, but does get the clear for Pika-Pals. There's a heart drop. You both hate and love to see it. As 1-Up now not very far behind. They both had bad deaths on Birdos. And I like 1-Up's strategy here. Goes, grabs the egg.
Oops, got the fish. Oh, but he missed!
Oh, the fish throws at a different angle than the eggs. And that's a much faster Birdo fight if lands this hit. Waits till he gets behind him to guarantee it. Pika-Pal's grabbing another safety mushroom. Do not blame them. 5-3 is hard. And just going around in like the positions of the bombs.
Yeah, that's smart.
And already has the safety mushroom, so... we'll see if 1-Up might go for a safety mushroom. There's one that's known later, and again, I don't know if you want to have 1 health and also 1 life going to the end of this.
Nice. Pika-Pal's got the slide through there.
Okay, that's rough. This is not looking great for 1-Up right now. But did take a hit there, but it does still mean that they have 2 hearts for Claw Grip because they grabbed that early heart. They grabbed that extra health. Neither than going for the super fast that room, but I like this fight. Oh, there's a weird setup with a bomb that you can take in that room. Neither of them went for it. The
nice
long
fast
room is...
kill for Pika.
Yeah, nice fast kill. Not going back for the heart, probably feels pretty confident in Claw Grip, as 1-Up is right behind him.
Alright, is he gonna get the God Bounce?
And let's see, we'll just go up.
No,
no not quite. This
look
fight
like he was going
is
for it
probably
either.
like the largest variability in bosses that exists in the entire game.
Yeah, he's not going for the God Bounce, he's just going for the double hits, which is fine.
There is a safety corner that you can kind of sit in.
So we'll
Claw
give
will never
some
hit you there.
time for 1-Up to catch up, because he's missed a few throws.
Yeah, he's got it was 1 hit left.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how 1-Up's fight goes.
Especially if
Is
1-Up
entering
goes for the
Birdo, and
fast
Birdo
fight.
immediately trolls him.
Because there's a damage boost strat where you can get the rock just to get stuck in the Claw Grip's hitbox, so just keep
I
bouncing.
don't think anybody's doing that.
Didn't 1-Up do it last time?
No. At least I don't think they did. They went for it. I don't like that position. This position
Yeah,
seems
this
scary
is a
to me.
scary position. Especially since you can't see the angle of the throw, so you have to react to the rock.
Well, I think the way that it's coming... Okay, it's only needs 1 more hit.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, the way that it's
digging
coming,
by
it-
Pika-Pals.
It seemed very consistent, but yeah, okay, so... Moving on, that was definitely a faster Claw Grip fight.
Only by a little bit, though.
Yeah, it's the little things, and we'll see Princess going into 6-1.
Yeah, and this is the other scary part with the digging, where you gotta dig carefully to avoid the Shy Guys falling on your head.
Okay, so let's see if Pika Pals does the super insane thing here, or does the, you know, regular people thing. It looks like it's gonna be the regular people thing.
Interesting digging pattern, but gets the job done
Pals.
of not letting the Shy Guy fall on your head.
Didn't go for the strat that requires all the double jumps, but did do the much harder Luigi strat.
Oh no.
And we see Mario in 6-2 for 1-up, meaning not going for that strategy. So Pika Pal is going to save some time overall.
Oh no.
1-up. Okay, well, this is going to be
This is
curious.
gonna be scary. Oh.
Just takes a death there.
Yeah, you really want to be on that top bird.
Okay, gets there this time. Not going for the potion jump. I don't remember if anybody did that last week.
Not
It's
last
really
week,
cool.
though. It's one of those things where it's like you can try it and not lose too much.
Okay. Did not get the multi-hits on Birdo. This is one that has a fairly safe setup to get the multi-hit because of where you can hit Birdo from below.
The level 1-up is on looks really scary when you do it the fast way, but you can do it without the double
and there's
jumps.
a death on
Be pretty
Tri-Glide.
consistent. Let's see if he'll get the quick third hit.
This boss fight takes him down. Moving on to 7. I won't be surprised if at the immediate start of 7, 1-up just immediately throws themselves into like the most immediate pit.
Yeah, for the quick game
Considering they
over.
have 0 lives. But they have to get through this first. Yes, here we go. Pika Pal's on 7-1. Progressing to the right. 1-up had some problems with this last week. Pika Pals gets first try, so that's pretty fast. Whew! 1-up, very scary. 1 hit away from gaming over and definitely stealing this race.
Yeah. Is this still
But
within striking distance? for
Tri-Glide.
1-up? Oh no!
Nope. That's probably gonna be it. But, you know, it can still... game over for Pika Pals isn't out of the realm of possibility, but it's highly unlikely.
Well, it's
I would
also just
say,
that
at
once
this
you get into World 7, there's only 2 stages, so if you game over in
Yeah.
World 7, it's less punishing as well.
Yeah, but this level, as I see Pika Pals take Princess into it, is... The Princess variant of this stage is... Like, you're not gonna quick kill Wart, but I don't think you're ever gonna die to anything, because... Yeah. So while that game over was extremely costly, I don't think it's what's gonna decide this race.
Yeah, pretty much just... It didn't decide the race, it just removed the chance
Yeah.
of 1-up being able to come back.
The
the most
only
part.
way I could see 1-up coming back is a couple of very, very slow deaths to Wart or the bird face.
Well, he's got a bunch of lives, so even if he dies to Wart, he'll
Yeah.
respawn pretty quick, be able to try again.
Yeah, but I just mean he's got to take, you know, like, you know, die several times on the 4th hit type of
Yeah.
deal. And then game over. Like, we might see one death immediately on the basis that only has 1 health. Wart,
Yeah, we'll see if he
not
takes
the nicest.
the hit, or is just gonna go for it. Looks like he's just going for it.
But, yeah. So, the princess setup for the Wart fight is incredibly easy, because basically the cycle between Wart opening his mouth and taking a hit is Princess's float duration. It was a little early.
I mistimed it.
Yeah, they started their float early.
Oh, mean vegetable spawn after that as well.
Yeah. Still a very, very good time for Pika Pals. It's, what are we on, last hit? Coming up right
I
now-ish?
think one more after this?
Yeah, it's like, it's the float. How long's the float? It's a length. And that's it. I guess we won't see Skyblazer today. That's the 2nd time in a row Pika Pals has just not played it because he won too quickly.
Yo, GG's to Pika Pals taking Game 2 and the match. That means Pika Pals going to Grand Finals.
Yep, this is Pika Pals' 2nd Grand Finals in a row. Made it last time, only to do what everybody did and play Ramses' best game against him, and then also any other game it didn't matter. Ramses was winning that tournament.
Yeah, it's not very surprising that Pika Pals won this. Pika Pals was absolute monster in all of the races. Very good times in pretty much every game.
Yeah. Insanely good.
But 1UP40 is gonna be back tomorrow for the bronze match, where 1UP40 and whoever is the loser of this next match coming up of it's Just Defend, and I've already and Piper. There we go.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Just Defend to reveal that he's actually spent like the past 6 weeks perfecting Doom, and is just gonna not ban it, and then Piper's gonna be very confused. We're hoping for it. For Railkun's sake, we're hoping for it.
We might even just see Doom in the bronze match for the heck of it.
I'm a big fan of Just Defend's avatar, which we'll see after the break. But
yeah,
it's a good one.
It's so strong.
Yeah, so with this match finishing up, we are going to take a quick break so that we can get ready for our next match. This is your time to get up, walk around, get a drink, get a snack, take care of yourself, and all that good stuff. But as a reminder to everyone, there is, in addition to SGDQ 2021 online that's going to be starting on July 4th through the 11th, we also have Frame Fatales, the all-woman speedrunning event. That's going to be returning on August 15th to the 21st with Flame Fatales. So if you want information on either SGDQ or Flame Fatales, go to gamesdonequick.com. If you are looking for the Flame Fatales event, that would be gamesdonequick.com/Frame Fatales for more information on that. And also prize submissions. While they've been open for SGDQ 2021 online, they are closing tomorrow night, end of day, June 27th. So if you want to donate something as a prize, make sure you get those submissions in before then. But anyways, we'll be right back. So stick around. We're going to take a quick break, get everyone set up, and yeah, that'll be it. We'll be right back with Piper versus... Just Defend. Can I please stop forgetting the competitors? I'm a mess today.
We're running out of competitors, so there's fewer and fewer names that you have to remember. It's fine.
Exactly. We're down to the last 4, and we have the same 4 tomorrow for bronze match and grand finals. So if I don't have them by tomorrow, I'm in trouble.
We'll make it. We'll make it happen.
Anyways, we'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, to Speed Seasons 3. My name is Amber Cyprin. I am your host for this next match coming up. I'm joined by Alpha 5 and the wonderful Railkun. That is just your name now, Railkun. You are the wonderful Railkun. But we just wrapped up our first match of the semifinals, where Pika Pals 2-0'd 1UP40. Sending 1UP40 into the bronze match for tomorrow, and Pika Pals is going on to our grand finals tomorrow afternoon as well. Coming up next, we have Piper and Just Defend. They're gonna be going through the whole banning banning games. This is not Smash Brothers. This is speedruns, so they're entire games, not just stages. And just to catch anyone up on the format for this, what's going to happen is we have both players. There are 7 games. They learned 7 games over the course of the open competition. That was Super Mario Brothers 2. If you could just bring us over to our band screen, Railcoon, as well. You are all good. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just pre-ban. Like, no, you're gonna play what we tell you to play. So what we will be doing is we have Super Mario Brothers 2, Doom, Link's Awakening DX, Katamari Damacy, Skyblazer, Crash Team Racing, and Pilot Wings to choose from. Starting with Piper, who was the higher seed in the competition. They were 3rd seed once we cut to top 8. Piper will be banning one game, and then Just Defend will be banning another. We're going to go back to Piper and then back to Just Defend until we have banned 4 games out of 7, leaving 3 left. Piper, being the higher seed, then chooses the first game. So once they have selected the first game, they will then race it. The loser of that game gets to pick game 2. If they then go to game 3, the game that was remaining will be what they race. So
I just have to say, I love Just Defend's avatar that he chose. It's so good.
Yeah.
It really
it's my
is.
favorite.
It's so good. It really sums up the beginning and end of this competition, I think, for the Open League season.
Yeah.
So I'm reaching out to Piper now.
I am expecting an SMB2 ban.
1000% Super Mario Brothers 2 ban it, said Piper.
Well, yeah. The other bans I'm expecting are Doom. And okay, well there's something that was unexpected. JD is banning CTR. Which
I believe did he ban it last weekend?
I don't. Someone did. I don't know. But I'm curious. What is Piper gonna ban for game 3?
Pilot Wings.
Okay. So what do you think the chances?
Oh, he's daring him. Yeah, he's like he's daring him.
He definitely. I know. There's no reason. Okay, Railcoon. Okay, Railcoon. He's. I said it out of random speculation. Maybe JD is gonna leave Doom up. JD leaves Doom up.
He bans
so we have had
LADX
all
instead.
7 games in top 8.
So Piper just picks Doom game 1, right? Like,
100%?
Almost without a doubt.
Yeah, yeah. We're going to Doom.
Doom.
We're going to Doom. There we go. That's it. And we had every game.
Doom it up.
We have had every game indeed. I was even saying in chat while y'all were doing commentary for game 1 of last match, which was LADX. I was like, I will be shocked if we see all 7 games in the course of the top 8.
Honestly, I didn't know if JD, because Piper had a 24, JD had like a 37. I honestly feel like JD practiced this, because otherwise I don't think would have left CTR up, because that's an easier game to learn. I'm also a little surprised Katamari got left up, just on the basis of JD had to make up 5 minutes, but I think JD really liked that game. I'm not surprised Skyblazer is just sitting there. That game will never be banned. That's not happening. Everybody has a within 1 or 2 minute time, and everyone likes playing it. We're gonna see it if it ever gets picked. Maybe JD did this just for you, Railcoon.
I'm so happy. I wanted Doom.
You can hear the joy.
Doom,
Okay,
like,
well this is.
It's interesting because, like,
talk.
even with Piper having been so far ahead of everybody else in the open race, Doom is still a very risky game.
It's also been, when was this race? The 23rd or 28th of like
game.
March. Yeah, no, I was like the date. It's been a while. It's been 3 months. So JD's comment was on this, and this is why I thought he acknowledged that this was hard. It said like he did the speed run, he had a newfound respect for everybody who did it, which made me think that he thought like, wow, I didn't understand exactly how impossible a Doom speedrun was before doing it. However, JD, it's just surprising. This is the one game I thought JD was just going to ban it, but I guess the only game JD's going to keep banning is Link's Awakening. Doesn't want to play that.
Maybe the
just
hatred
definitely
for
wants
Link's
to play
Awakening.
Katamari and Skyblazer though.
Maybe the hatred for Link's Awakening surpassed Doom. I don't know. Yeah, it was definitely the right play by Piper just to leave Doom up and challenge JD to like, you're gonna ban it.
There was no. I mean, why would Piper ever ban that game? Like there'd be no reason to. Like even off a 24 with a bad D-Rust, maybe it's a 35, you still beat his race time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, and that's 11 minutes slower.
Yeah, the main reason is that the Doom, a bad death, and you didn't save, or a save in a bad position can lose a lot of time. There's a lot of safe strats. Like, it's not as risky of a game. Just any individual level going particularly bad can waste a couple minutes,
This is gonna sound really silly, by the way, but it's been so long since we've seen Doom. What's the category for this again?
Episode 1 through 3.
Yeah, ultra-violent episode 1 through 3. Yeah, okay, the race date was April 11th. It was announced on the 28th or something of March, but yeah, it's still been forever. Oh, no, sorry, no, that was... Why did I click on the wrong game? Nope. Yeah, I was right. It was March 28th. Off the top of my head. And yeah, Piper had a 22:51. And Just Defend had a 35:31. That's a big difference. This is, I think, the largest skill gap in just like time that I've seen, and that we've seen in these playoffs. Like some people, it's just like, okay, CTR is one thing. A lot of people showed up to that as like it was a breather game because there was a lot less going on. You were just driving a race car and then sometimes hoping that you did trick. But like it was nice and simple. And while we aren't going to, there's no simple in this. That's Doom 2.
It's also curious because like Dime's tutorial was one of the more in-depth tutorials, but it was like 5.5 hours long. And all the racers that I talked to skimmed through it. They did not watch the entire thing. So it's also one of those things where like maybe Just Defend went back and watched it properly, because Dime gave like 3 routes on every level: the super fast route, a slower, safer route, and an intermediate route. And he gave so many options that like if somebody went back and actually watched it properly, that even just doing that with minimal practice would gain several minutes over the race time.
Yeah, like just knowing the route will save you time, and knowing like, okay, here are my 10 options, because Doom, like to talk about randomness, Link's Awakening has a lot of randomness. Doom has an insane amount of randomness in it that you just don't really think about, because you're always like, well, one of these like, and if you watch Time Stories, like, well, one of these like 6 things can happen, and this is how you deal with every single one of them. And you just have to notice when you're probably having to deal with it. So it's crazy, and I guess we're ready. So I'm gonna tell them to good luck, have fun.
I'm so happy. I'm grinning like an idiot. It's fantastic.
This is going to be intense. At least unlike in Season 2, where every single one of us bet nobody was gonna remotely speedrun Quake 2, and then it was in the first race. But we don't have any songs, it seems like,
it's
from
quiet.
Piper. A lot of... Oh, it's quiet,
there.
yeah.
He just has the music turned down.
Yeah. So yeah, there's the first level. It's very fast. Then we're in Nuke Plant. They're gonna dodge around some guys up here to get to a switch real quick. There's a lot of strafe running. A lot of the speed tech in Doom is intangible, I would say. You won't notice it as a viewer.
It's important that he got the armor in the first level. There's a faster way through the first level, but the armor is just such a huge amount of damage reduction. One of the big things is remembering that you have the blue armor, which is the more powerful armor. And if you drop below 100% armor, you pick up the green armor, you will get the lesser damage reduction from the green armor.
Yeah,
so something that Dime covered
50.
a lot is like, depending on what your armor percentage is and you have a blue armor, it can be better to skip the green armor sometimes. And here comes the first like tough level. Here's level 3.
So I had the brilliant idea of one day of racing some people in Doom for the Atari Jaguar. Every one of us quit on this level, except for one person. Because one, you don't have quick saves, and two, it's really bad. There are more shotgunners.
Yeah, this room right here is rough. Looks like he went for the bait strategy to get around the pinky, and pretty good start level for Peak Pals.
Super, you mean Piper?
Right, yeah, sorry, Piper. Other P person, yes. I gotta change the names in my head.
Justified is taking the much more aggressive strategy and is really low on health, but might be able to pull this off. Hasn't gone for any saves.
Yeah, it was weird because it looked like JD started off trying to play it safe, and then shotgunners are mean, and I think he's had to slow down after that. 2% health, that's what I'm talking about. It looked like he saved with 2% health.
He did. It was intentional.
I hope he did not overwrite his previous save with that.
I think maybe just has to take this room a little bit differently. But yeah, as we see Piper going on to E1M4.
Like, there are health packs in that big room, but like it's gonna be tough getting to them.
Yeah. JD is just trying to back up and kill these shotgunners. This isn't the worst level to pistol start on, I would think. So, you know, could just elect to start the stage over, because again, you're not really, at this point, you're not maintaining. I see what he's trying to go for. He's trying to go for that health pack in the bottom, but you're not maintaining any health or armor because you ran out of it.
There's only like 2 shotgunners here. If he can get the shotgunners, like focus on just getting the shotgunners, and he make it.
They got one. Yeah. As Piper's just
you missed the second
one.
one.
Is on E1M5 already. It's one shotgun right there. Did you get them all?
Oh, the imp from the side. Unfortunate.
Meanwhile, yeah, Piper's just tearing up E1M5, taking weird routes around the stage. He's gonna.
But
that's already jumped into the.
This is exactly what I meant. Oh, he chooses to start over completely.
Yeah.
In that, like, when you're practicing, there's places where you save. It just becomes natural for you to save in those places on your runs. If you're not paying attention to your health, and you just make one of those saves without thinking about it, you can lose a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's
honestly, with how quick
the
first 2 maps are, I don't blame this from JD. Just, you know, reset.
Yep. Like, pistol start probably would have been fine, but he probably wanted to have, like, the shotgun ammo.
The shotgun shells and the armor are probably important. Because, like, it's already at the end of E1M2, and actually gets a much more favorable enemy pattern there compared to the first time.
Also, if he's only been, like, practicing complete runs, never actually done a pistol start, that would make sense as well.
Yeah. I think it's mostly shotgun ammo, because you just have so much less.
Mm-hmm.
And get the first shotgunner, blocked by the Spectre. Meanwhile, Piper's getting ripped apart in this corridor, but is still doing okay. As you can see, making a lot of saves.
JD, once again, like, you gotta prioritize getting the shotgunners.
Okay, got those shotgunners down this time. And saves there after clearing all the shotgunners in a single bullet.
Still looking a little rough, but he's got...
I killed a lot of stuff there that time, though. I think got all of it out of the way. And, you know, has 18% more health. There's a shotgunner to his back, but gets past it, picks up a health pack. That imp actually helping him out, opening that door sooner.
Oh my god.
Grabs the backup green armor. And, yeah, I want to be talking about Piper because he's going for this bonk thing right here.
Did you get it?
Did it? Nope. Yeah, that closed. I could hear it close.
Yeah, so what he's trying to do is he's trying to lure an enemy underneath this doorway, because when you pick up the key, the door closes, and if you get the enemy positioned correctly, the door will bonk off the enemy's head and then not close. and it saves something like 20 seconds of having to wait for the door to open up, because it traps you in here, spawns some enemies. It's supposed to be a gotcha moment, catch you by surprise.
Yeah. Cleaner exit from JD there. A little surprised you didn't shoot that shotgunner. I know in Doom you want to kill basically nothing, but sometimes just shoot any hit scan enemies because they suck. Every single one of them.
Yeah, we're talking about shotgunners a lot because the damage in Doom is random. You have damage ranges on what enemies do to you. Armor reduces it by flat percentages depending on which type of armor you have. And the shotgunners have a very large damage range, and they're hit scans, so they just hit you. And a couple shotgun shots can tickle you, or they can take 60% or 70% health. They're very random, and you just don't want to let them have the chance to take huge chunks of health off of you when you can.
And okay, is currently doing a jump. We didn't talk about it because everything JD was doing was insane. But there's a nice little jump there to skip like a whole chunk of this level to grab that yellow key. But yeah, Piper's been making some steady progress through episode 1. He's nearing the end of this level, which turns into a big maze kind of at the end, E1M6. This room is being very safe in it. There's a really fast way to do it. I'm pretty sure Piper would exit this stage. If it goes even remotely not okay, Piper would exit the stage with no health.
Yeah.
And just clears that room out. I've watched Dime like live try to teach someone how to do that room perfectly, and it's gross. Whereas JD taking the loud approach to this room. There's like 5 different ways you can do this room, like half stealth because enemies don't wake up.
Yeah,
Piper not having a bad of time there.
The default state of enemies in this game is sort of quote-unquote asleep, where they're not aggressive yet. And you won't notice that casually because usually you're fighting the entire time, and the sound of gunfire wakes them up well before you see them.
Yeah. But sometimes if you just walk into a room, you don't shoot anything, you know, they're still sleeping, and sometimes the trigger is they see you, sometimes it's they hear you. Sometimes it's if you step on like a certain part of the floor, that's when they wake up, or if you pick up a key.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of stuff going on in this game, and it's crazy, and lots of stuff here. I like this level, going for a save here, because it's gonna just kind of jump into this. Not going for the safety soul sphere, but, or well, the additional one, I guess, is right behind that one switch, but does get the blue key. They have all the keys. This is like one of the most ridiculous levels, because you're wrapping back around on yourself so many times. It's like one of the hardest levels to recognize where you have been, but the game has a lot of enemy lockers in the area. You have to, yeah, exactly, because this level wraps around a ton. But there are enemy lockers, and basically you're just constantly spawning enemies where you've seen them. And okay, so JD, well, he got the bug and has 2% health again. It just needs to get out of this room a little bit more cleanly. And should be okay, because there's a lot of health.
Oh, the shotgunners, though, and he only has 5% armor, so these little zombies are plinking away the last of his armor, and the shotgunner here just...
Okay, everything was really nice to him.
You got away that... Oh, but that shotgunner just did 30% damage. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's not even the high end of his damage range, because he has no armor, so that shotgunner can do full damage.
He's actually using the Spectre to tank for him there. Helpful, but there's a safety up here, like right past this. If you just hold straight, not going for it. That's aggressive. There's a soul sphere up there. But we are seeing the end of episode 1 for Piper. 3 in there, 4 on the second. Oh, it does take a bit of his own rocket damage, but it's going for the more aggressive strategy. I think missed a hit. There's a bunch of
the
specters,
and got him.
It's hard to see the specters in this level.
Yeah, that's why the most common strategy is to bait all the specters and kill them, just so that doesn't happen to you. Oh, he's trapped in the corner by the specters.
Yeah, so this is JD's chance to start making some ground up. Is entering the end of E1 M6, right? Yeah, that's 6. Sometimes those shotgunners decide not to do anything. Sometimes they decide to kill all their friends, which happened there, which is kind of funny.
There's also one interesting where, like, being low health on this level does actually save time. So it's not the end of the world that Piper's low health here, just needs to finish this off without dying. Because the end trigger to this level is actually to be under 20% health in the final room.
Yeah, it's like Barons, if you play this game a lot, or just any Doom mods, which sometimes you just end up doing, you know, are pretty easy to deal with. But
Start running at the right time. Yeah, there we go.
Skip.
That saves about, like, what, 16 seconds, I think it is?
Yeah, it's not it was like either 16 or like 6, but like it wasn't a huge amount of time, but it's like you have to wait for it to shamefully raise the stairs.
It is more than 6. It's a pretty slow animation.
Yeah, it's slow. You feel bad the entire time.
Alright, so Piper moving on to episode 2. Justifen still making his way through episode 1. Seems to be out of the danger zone in terms of health, but has run out of armor again, which means health could become an issue again.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like armor pickups, and oh, that's unfortunate. That one rocket that they were hoping would clear out a bunch of those imps for later just smashed itself straight into the wall, so that's gonna slow him down a bit later. I hope he caught that.
Yeah, he can shoot it again on the way back here if you noticed it. Oh.
It depends on how many... Oh, there were imps at the bottom. Yeah, things have infinite height, and it makes it really hard to deal with.
He's not doing the strategy to deal with imps either, and like, because imps are interesting enemies. Not imps, sorry, the pinkies. Pinkies are huge, they're large walls, they get in your way, but their attack animation is so slow that you can, when they're in your face like that, you can just backstep every once in a while, and they'll just miss you repeatedly.
The hitboxes, when they, like, if you were to code it as point blank, that would be the definition of it. It is right in front of their sprite, and it is so easy to dodge. Sometimes, you know, you have a pinky, you can jam it in a hallway and use it to regroup as 1,000 other demons are behind it. Well, you think, because everything's blocked by the pinky because they're so fat.
Piper, moving along pretty well, has the plasma rifle, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty much the best DPS weapon in the game. Very good for clearing enemies out of hallways. Pretty much most of the ammo routing through the rest of the game here is just making sure you have enough plasma for the stuff you really want it for, and then using any of the excess for speed.
JD was trying to sneak around, but one of the pinkies just went on a mission to ruin everything. Oh yeah, JD didn't go for the wall run. You can sort of like SR40 into that wall and go really fast.
Baron
just the straight running.
Got a bunch of health off of Piper there.
Yeah, it's switching save slots.
And it is interesting.
And okay, JD just blew all of his rockets and killed everything. Much cleaner end to... Yeah, I honestly, I feel like that was safer because you couldn't see all the specters.
Yeah.
Like, just take that time loss, get off, finish the level.
It takes so long. He's at 20.
I know.
So yeah, he had to take one hit from an enemy in there, and he's fine. It's interesting, though, because when we're doing episode 1 through 3, not 1 through 4, it means that episode 2 is actually the hardest one by far. There's difficult levels, really hard tricks.
There's a cyber demon.
Yeah.
I would say that just some of the lineups on 2 are a lot harder. But yeah, we're not doing 4 because as well, I was talking to Dime when I was picking the category. Episode 4 isn't the most fun to run because your life is just over if Cyber Demon just decides.
Episode 4 is very, very difficult. You're in much more danger the entire time through in terms of like health. Even for like experienced Doom runners, they'll sometimes just die on episode 4.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I've watched it. One of them is the teleporter and the no room to actually fight a cyber demon fight.
Yep.
That room, it sucks.
All right, we're
And so
coming up on the
Piper's
first
going for Void
real
Glide.
big trick for Piper. Is trying to line himself up and then is going to fire a rocket, get knocked himself out of bounds,
Yeah.
and then a very, very precise lineup.
Okay, has the angle. Is saving
Yeah.
once they have this.
And now
Gets out. Okay.
Nice.
And here's the hard part.
Yeah, Piper has to line himself up very, very precisely to be able to touch this button from out of bounds to end the level. It's much, much harder than it looks because you have to be standing in a very particular spot and looking at a very particular angle. There's some multiple good setups that Dime went over during the tutorial about watching these pixels at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Lining
There's
those
also
up
an
carefully.
audio. Yeah, there's like audio, you know that you are capable of being like if you're too far to the left or too far to the right, whether or not you make the like use sound.
Yeah, there we
and gets
go.
it.
That was a very good Void Glide.
Yeah,
Like-
that was very good.
For people who are not experienced, that might have looked slow. That was actually extremely good.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's like for people who are that's fast for people who are experienced with this game sometimes. Unless you're Zero Master and you just first try everything all the time.
Yeah, if you look at the records, they'll go for the instant press, which is a completely different setup and very hard. Now we've got a rocket jump for Piper immediately afterwards. If you make the save in the right spot, it just turns into lining yourself up correctly, strafing, and shooting the rocket off that wall as you go by. It's very safe because you have the invincibility, you can make the save without too much pressure on you. And now we're on to the Cyber Demon fight that you mentioned.
Yeah. So, you know, the spoiler alert was correct. You do shoot the cyber demon until it dies.
Yeah.
You know, this is your pro tip.
Surprisingly, one of the hardest things in this fight are the lost souls messing with you. Because the Cyber Demon's rockets do player rocket damage, except the Cyber Demon is immune to the splash damage in rockets.
Yeah. Basically, so he can't kill himself.
Right
and,
there.
oof,
I thought he died
he
because the screen went completely red.
It can, at a minimum, I think they can, because he was a 200, could be two-shot.
Yes.
So, this is episode 3. It's, honestly, I think it's the coziest episode.
Yeah, Piper's past
Like,
the hard part of the run. There's some tricky parts, but nothing as punishing as episode 2.
Yeah, and, like, they started to do some, like, you know, Doom 2-ish style, like, maps in this area where it's like, okay, it's a puzzle map, but when you know the solutions to the puzzle, it's easy.
You see Piper doing the thing where you back up as soon as the pinky starts biting, and he just stands there and finishes the bite animation, but will miss.
Sometimes you don't have to kill any of those pinkies. This is not one of those days.
Yeah. Enemies being mean. Imps all moving in the way as well.
Okay, grabbing that extra health at the end of the stage. This is a mazy-ish level, but when you kind of know it, you find the thing with some blood on it, even though that's everything.
Yeah, this is the
you find
level
it.
where if you look at the map, it's a hand. So you just went in the thumb to get the soul sphere, and then you go up the index finger.
Yeah, and that's one of those puzzle levels. Like, oh, how do I solve this puzzle? And the level's very quick. And I'm watching. JD is going for the other setup for the Void Glide to get out of bounds. This out of bounds is incredibly free. It's a lineup into an SR50.
Yeah, this is the old setup. It is a little bit slower because you have to kill all these enemies, but more consistent.
Yeah, is you're just basically lining the top of your thing up with the green, and you're just out of bounds. It is so much easier to set up. And now let's see how to void
Yeah,
press.
it just takes longer to get there, but you can get out of bounds way faster once you get there. It's the safer strat.
Yeah.
Especially since you don't have to boost yourself out of bounds with a rocket. It's better for your health.
Yeah, it's better for your health. It's
The health
incredibly
isn't
consistent.
super concerned because you're also going to get the invincibility in this next level, rocket jump, and then you're
You
going
can
to
still
get
take a bunch of
pretty much
damage.
full
Like,
health refills before the Cyber Demon.
grabbing extra rockets.
Just gotta kill these enemies, line yourself up, and take the save for Just Defend. Oh, he moved afterwards.
A little bit, and then got touched by
Oh, there's an enemy
something.
behind him that bumped him. He might need to kill that enemy and save again. Because I don't think he's in the right spot now. Yeah, the pinky.
Oh, so he needed that. Okay, no, he has 1 ammo left, which is fine.
I think he's a little too far back.
There. Yeah.
Oh, got it
That's
anyway.
it.
That's
I think
a tough setup,
realized,
but he got it.
Yeah, I think JD was overcorrecting backwards because of what you were saying. And okay, yeah, so is doing this strategy of going in and out so you can grab more rocket ammo.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't waste too much time because the cyber demon, depending on where he's walking, is there.
Direct hit.
Takes one hit, can take another hit.
The other dangerous thing about the Cyber Demon fight is not getting too close to the walls, because the splash damage, like right there, can hurt.
Pretty
if
sure
you're too
can't
close to the
take
wall.
any more hits. At least no direct hits.
Yeah, he can't take a direct. Well, he could take a low damage roll direct, I think.
Doesn't matter. Tower of Babel is down.
So now they're both in episode 3.
Mount Erebus for Piper. This is, I think this is a fun level to do. Just because it's very fluid and the whole thing is open. So you're never, like, confused other than, you know, you're playing this for the first time. Because this is definitely, like, a level like, oh, I'm supposed to jump in this thing? That's weird. Like, all of the puzzle levels being in episode 3 is curious. But they got fancy with their map design. And it is just going to take all of the damage here. And just advance. Mount Erebus done. Gate to Limbo. This is another puzzle level that can.
Yeah, this one.
And a maze.
It's a maze with a bunch of switches that you have to hit in a particular order. And
yeah, and a portal you have to go through backwards. Like, it's just different.
Yeah. And like, for people if they hadn't watched Dime's like walkthrough on this level, this is a level that can take you just forever casually. Just because it requires backtracking, you have to hit switches that were not there previously after you hit an earlier switch. Because like that switch opens up a wall, which then reveals a switch that didn't exist before. All that kind of nonsense. There is a rocket jump at the end to save a little bit of time, or you can SR50 across the gap. We'll see which one Piper goes for.
And honestly, watching this as I'm seeing JD enter Pandemonium, a lot of this time loss, almost all of it, as I'm just watching them keep up with each other, was in E1 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very good pace out of both of them. You know, we'll have to ask JD if he knows what his total time is after.
Real tough. There we go. Gets back across, no problem.
Yeah, you can just do SR40s and then change your angle a little bit. It's pretty. I found it at least consistent.
Here's the hard part.
This part's hard
because you want to jump across and not overshoot it. Because if you fall down to the other side, you got to go all the way around.
That was absolutely perfect. And JD's taking the safer strat here, going down to grab this invulnerability.
And Spider Mastermind going for just the quick kill, yeah.
Oh no, it died. It's such a joke of a ball. Oh right, the game's over. He won.
That's it. That's a 24. That's very good.
It's a good time. It's such a silly end to this game. It's just like, oh, it's a Spider Mastermind. It's this big threat. It just falls over the second you see it.
They're scarier if you can't get up in their face like that, because
yeah, they're scary if you can't get up in their face or have a BFG. Or
they take a while to start shooting, but once they start shooting, they're like pretty much the highest DPS enemy in the game. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But if you can get up in their face before they start shooting with BFG shots, they just fall over instantly. I don't think we explained BFG shots for people who missed the race before.
Yeah.
The simple explanation is the projectile only does a little bit of damage. It's like 60-ish damage, I think. It's still a lot, but the issue is most of the damage from the BFG is when it contacts, a cone of like lasers shoots out from Doom Guy in the direction that you shot it. And each one of those has an individual hitbox, and when you hug an enemy like that, as the projectile hits, all of those lasers hit at the same time and can do something like 2,000 damage. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's why if you try to do long distance BFGs, they don't seem to do much damage. It's because most of the damage is coming from those lasers that shoot out a Doom guy.
The tracers shooting out of your body. JD, well, I was hoping, I was going to cut you off if he did. He didn't go for the key bump there. I didn't see Piper do it because Piper was just going mad through it. Entering Unholy Cathedral, this is just a puzzle level to just go around. Yeah, honestly, how much time did JD lose at the start with just E1M3?
Well, he's
episode
stuck there
1
for
is
a minute, maybe a minute and a half before he restarted. So 3-4 minutes, maybe 5. I was not tracking.
Yeah, that was a lot of time.
Even the second time through episode 3 was not perfect.
Yeah.
You can make an argument that E1M3 is one of the hardest maps in the speedrun.
I think episode 1's the hardest episode in this entire run.
You have no resources. The shotgunners hit real hard. The biggest struggle is just getting through that cleanly.
Yeah, it's that there are more shotgunners in episode 1 than there are in other episodes. It's impossible, and the levels are so much longer. And oh, JT, no. At least it's a really convenient way to get back up, but it's just, oops, I forgot. And then taking the pulse rifle route here, Mount Erebus. So yeah, we're almost at the end. We're honestly, yeah, looking at it, if it was 4 to 5 minutes, this race could have swung the other way. Very potentially had that not gone as wrong as it did.
You look at the pace that Just Defend is on, and it is significantly better than his original race time, I'm pretty sure. So it does look like Just Defend had practiced this at the very least, even with the mistake on E1M3.
Yeah, and that's just Doom. That's just how that happens sometimes.
So I feel like if this is the time that JD is setting up here, and, you know, if he hadn't had that big time loss on E1M3, this would have been a close race. I think that was a good call. You know, because potentially what might have happened is Piper, you know, what if he just expects everybody to ban Doom and doesn't practice it too much before playoffs, you know? Had such a huge lead that it's possible that Piper may have been a little rusty.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the question is, where's JD taking us? I have a strong feeling it's going to be Skyblazer.
Oh, he got the gap jump and then just missed the key and went off the edge.
Off. But yeah, this is
nearly
going
done.
Yeah.
Just gotta get the one more switch, jump over the edge, and then clean up the Cyber Demon. Nice shot through that gap to get those lost souls. They can be a pain in the final area.
Yeah, there was Dime was explaining a crazy strategy with the BFG and those lost souls. Okay, doesn't even go for that jump. I was like, where is he going? And then just went this way. And then, as I can recall from Dime's notes, this level is called Dis. His notes for this level is Dis Easy. And that's it. Yeah, I honestly, E1M3 decided this race.
Yeah. That's really all it came down to. Like, JD was within striking distance with the amount that he practiced here. I perfectly reasonable choice to go to Doom, even though, like, it may look like a bad choice with him being behind by 4+ minutes. If E1M3 had gone well for him first try, they would have been very, very close.
Yeah, get your GGs out for both of these racers. It's really interesting to see the choices and bans and, like, being like, well, why are you choosing this when your your original race time from, like, months ago was so X amount of difference between the person that you're racing. And it's like, there's this thing called practice. I did it. But we're gonna go to game 2, I believe. We are left with Katamari and Skyblazer.
I feel like the safe choice is Skyblazer, but we'll see what happens. Exuno in chat actually mentions, looks like they went back and looked. It was about 3:25 on the clock when Just Defend reset. So he had to spend another minute plus getting back there, and his E1M3 didn't go perfect when he did it again. So yeah, it was probably close to 5 minutes lost by JD.
Wow. Yeah. So he put the time in on Doom. That was calculated, and it just went a little poorly.
That was a good strategy, honestly. He had
yeah.
a pretty good time lined up. It's just E1M3 is so hard. Like Dime emphasized that a lot in the tutorial, that E1M3 is a huge stumbling block.
E1M3, Phobos Lab is also hard. Like if you watch that Doom tutorial Dime gave that was like 5.5 hours, 3 of those hours were talking about how episode 1 sucks. And that's not even hyperbole. That's basically what it was. And then episode 3 was like 45 minutes because it's just like, yeah, you just go here and the level's over.
To be fair, some of that's because like Dime was doing the building up. Like the first hour was just like movement tech and other just like basics you'd need for the rest of the tutorial.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the amount of time you spend, over half the run is in episode 1.
Yeah,
and episode 2 is like a little long, and it's a little tricky, and you have a cyber demon, and again, his notes for E3M8 this easy.
So we've actually, I've heard from Just Defend on what the second race is going to be. It is going to be Skyblazer. So that will be our game 2. And if Just Defend can win this this race, we'll be seeing Katamari. We did not get away without potentially seeing Katamari.
How has Katamari been in every race?
I don't know.
It wasn't. Listen, it was banned once today. That's all I'm happy about.
Like, we haven't seen it every time, but it's been in the pool so much more than we expected.
Yeah, we've seen it 4 times already. We're done. No one has to play it anymore.
You say that, but if JD wins,
I'd say that, but I think JD might win this unless Piper smashes, because JD was doing real good on this. But yeah, we've seen every game. For all I know, we might, depending on who wins this match overall, we might see Link's Awakening again. Who knows? I feel like if you're gonna assume what Pika Pals is gonna ban being Pilot Wings and Doom, if you don't want to play other games, it's a pretty safe bet.
Okay, so we have a slight complication because it appears that RaceBot has died.
RaceBot has died.
Both players say they're ready. I'm gonna warn them countdown starting, and then I'm just gonna type out a countdown for them in Discord. So we'll be starting out here in just a few seconds as I give them the cue.
Okay, so Skyblazer. They're playing on the Japanese version because it's like 17 seconds flat faster. Plot's a little different in the J version, you know, something about Garuda instead of whatever our main guy's name is. I want to call him Randy.
Randy?
That's the main character of some RPG I played recently. Oh right, the Secret of Mana series has the main character, his name is Randy. I don't know why, but it is. He reminds me of Randy. But we're hoping for a JD win. We want more matches, you know. More races, more video game, always good. As JD has a very, very minor lead. Took more, turned around to take the damage boosts a little bit more in that first stage. And again, this game, and I'd have to ask, I think everybody just liked playing this game. It just had everything everybody wanted, which is good, because that, if I were to go back to, like, if I were to compare this to Season 2, the number one comparison I would take is Katamari's Wipeout XL. I've seen it too many times already, and I don't want to see it again. And because you run out of things to talk about in Katamari, whereas this game, there's a lot of movement going on, and oh, JD takes an unfortunate hit there, that's going to cost some time. I think it's just still in the lead, but just barely. Goes for the 1-up.
Like
Piper really wants that 1-up.
It's an easy to digest platformer with some glitches to save some time, and like some tech on fighting the bosses quickly. Like,
I cannot shout out how phenomenally good and better than everybody else OmniGamer was at teaching people how to play this game. he had like tools and everything. It was crazy. It was really, really useful. Watch his tutorial if you want to learn how to speedrun this game. I basically learned it while he was teaching it, and it was pretty easy to do with everything that he said.
I also need you to know that the hitbox viewer that he had is one that he made himself.
Yeah. He made everything he had for this game, and we'll see how aggressive okay, tries to get the first zip here as you're trying to clip into the wall, and JD gets a very quick zip there. Didn't get the super fast one where you don't have to wait for that one guy, and there's the zip.
And we'll see
Piper.
How he gets the quick kill.
Oh, okay.
Well,
made a mistake, has to wait another cycle. But not a great fight from either player, really. But Piper's going to pull ahead here because ended the room closer to the middle of the screen.
By a fraction of a second. Like, it's basically even now.
Yeah, it's like 2 seconds apart. JD, I think, with just a little bit cleaner movement. But yeah, that boss fight gave people problems randomly last week, too. You think about it's... I want to say it's the easiest boss because I really don't like the Mode 7 boss. Actually, that's not true. The wall face is the easiest boss.
Yeah. So, interestingly, this is an auto-scroller, not a whole lot to do, but the more you kill the enemies, the less lag frames. The most important enemies to kill are those giant, like, boar rider guys. They apparently cause the most lag, according to OmniGamer.
Yeah, and even then, Omni's, like, I think it doesn't, like, it saves minuscule amounts of times to kill things, like, but it's something. So you gotta, because there's nothing else to do, so you might as well try to save your, like, quarters of a frame in the stage. Like, because I was watching him, he was doing it without killing anything, and, like, I didn't even see any lag, and I'm normally, I'd notice, like, any frame rate drop, you just don't see it.
Yeah, it's not, like, noticeable lag, it's just occasional frame drop, as far as I know.
Yeah, it drops it from 60 to 59, and, you know, you gotta save that. But as we move on to this stage...
This stage has a couple fun strategies to sync up the moving platforms. Just going in this room, exiting immediately. Syncs up this cycle really nicely.
Yeah, you just gotta be nice and quick here. But here is the hardest zip, or scariest one, and they both got it really quickly. Except for the second one, but Piper takes a death. JD is trying to get this... JD, just go up.
He's not
so,
going...
Oh, JD gets crushed there, and okay!
Oh, this is so hard. So, like, even if you try to do the second half of the room normally, just the way the enemies are placed here just makes it real rough.
Yeah,
very easy to die.
Because it's basically if those things touch you wrong, and okay, we have no lead change whatsoever. It's same. Oh my goodness. It's like a 1 second lead. This went poorly for some people the other day. They just missed a cycle, but let's see. JD skipping a couple blocks there, doing okay, and yeah. This can also be very scary. You want to get this quickly. Oh. JD not quite getting in the wall. JD died to Mode 7
He was in the wall and then walked out of the wall.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
He did the thing. There you go. He's in the wall and he walked out.
I think he's slightly out in a way he doesn't. Oh, he can't. I think he can't do it when it's moving or something like that, or it has to be moving. It's one of the two. OmniGamer said something weird about that particular thing, and Piper's taking a bit of damage on this guy. It's a bit worrisome.
Yeah, the main way to save time on this boss is hitting the eye the first frame that it becomes vulnerable.
I don't think Piper's in any danger unless he takes a bad hit on this next. No,
he's past the hard part. He can just duck in the corner.
Yeah. Oh, you say that. You commentator cursed the hell out of it.
I mean, he was past the hard part. You're the one that said you don't think he could die, and you're saying I'm the one that commentated.
No, all he had to do was not get touched by the body, and I like what JD had an extra magic there, so Yeah, it's your fault. I can't curse anybody.
Alpha cursed it way harder and then blames me for it.
It's so much easier to do that. Listen, Matt's not here, so I can't just blame him. But that's another lead change for JD.
Well, you know whose fault it is,
body,
right? It's Roar's fault, always.
Yeah, well, Exuno blamed you, so that's 2 votes. And that's another death for Piper. Mode 7 not being kind. Although I did see Piper try to jump over more aggressively one time when they could have just meteor dashed. I think like after you hit him 3 times, you have to meteor dash, you die.
You can do it without the meteor dash. It's just safer with it.
Yeah, I haven't done like I don't think I've ever made that jump. Like I can barely make like the second one normally. It's just, but you don't have anything. Oh, forgot to switch magics.
Yeah, OmniGamer showed you the jump and said it's hard, and then just recommended people use meteor dash instead.
Yeah, it's not wasting any time. You don't need the magic anyway. Although JD did make a great use of that crescent just to prevent any chance of colliding with that body, because that is what cost him the race last week in Skyblazer. Basically, was the death to this boss. And then it turned into a kerfuffle with the final boss. As it goes.
Someone in chat is theorizing that he just really wants to play Katamari.
It's very possible. It's just like, it's sign up for Skyblazer. I want to play some Katamari. I mean, this is the one game where I'm like, if you decided to be lax on your practice for this game, why? No one's banning that, and I don't think you are either.
Alright, so we should see the one very easy magic manip here. We'll see if JD goes for the ones after that. That one is literally just you buffer holding the magic button.
Yeah, based on not seeing a dash here, is not going to go for it.
Yeah, a lot of people were not going for the secondary manips on this stage.
Yeah, basically you jump, you put your nose into a pillar, and then you kick, and then you just like I don't remember the second one. I think you just move correctly and kick, and you'll get both. Those made sense to me when OmniGamer said it that way. It was like, you just do this and it works. Whew, that was scary. These crushers you don't try to be smarter than it. If you are, then you've died.
There's one crusher later on you can kind of play with. It's just not this one.
Yeah. That one, and that's a very scary thing. We saw a bunch of deaths on it, too.
Yeah. And these little green blob enemies that shoot those orbs, they're scary later on, because it's the only attack in the game that can knock you out of your meteor dash. The only one.
Yeah. And then this boss, there's technically a move that does more damage. However, it hits less, so it does less damage. So you're doing like 6 damage every cycle instead of 4.
Yeah, it's the crescent, is it week 2? Is that the one?
I think so. But it only hits one thing, so it takes longer. It's much easier to just dash across. It's the freest boss in the entire game. And now we're coming up to top 2 worst bosses in the entire game. And okay!
That was risky by Piper.
Didn't think you were going to make that.
Scare the heck out of me.
Challenged the Crusher and won.
Yeah, if you're like...
Probably knew they could make that.
If you're on the very edge of the corner, it'll sort of push you out. But this is legitimately one of the hardest levels in the game, even though it's so short.
Yeah, the blobs, and last week took incredibly aggressive trades. Gets the damage boost off of that guy that lets him skip the first blob.
And then the other issue is when you fall in the water, you cannot jump out. You have to climb up the wall like that.
Yeah,
those
it
piranhas
feels so
are
bad.
out for blood.
Yeah, and didn't meteor dash there because wants to keep their magic at a certain point. I still love LK's strat of riding the wall and then dashing immediately out of it. It just seems like such a good setup, so you don't have to wait time jumping. But yeah, here's a water level. It's kind of like a maze.
Yeah, you'll see them flip the switches really quickly because underwater specifically, you can cancel the attack animation just by pressing the away button, like pressing the direction away from where you're facing while you attack. So they attack long enough to hit the switch, and then they turn away, and allows you to keep going really quickly. And you can also fight those dragons really fast with it, just like Towards kick away, towards kick away, towards kick away, real fast.
Yeah, it's a. If I were to reference Link's Awakening, it's also how the helmet swords work. If you're jumping and doing a spin slash, even if you're not facing the right direction, you can get everything correct
the
there
extra
too.
magic drop.
You like to see it, but also it feels silly. So this is just the worst, and it's
Looked good.
gets
Yeah,
it. Okay.
Oh.
I hate this boss.
The two on the top
Like-
were partway through spawning the eggs when they got hit.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the attempt on the buffer strat by JD. It didn't work, but did you see him? He was like
It
trying
didn't
to time
work,
it out.
and
with
now everything
kicks.
is terrible.
Yeah. Okay, he's gonna have to bait
Needs to
these.
close this out.
Oh.
Okay, this is tremendous time loss.
Yeah. So like the backup here is usually you swim to the outside and you get the fish stuck. Because they'll try to chase you and they can kind of get stuck on the outer edge.
I mean, you can sit in the corners, and the eggs from some of them don't always come out. Okay, it looks like JD has an idea as to what to do. I'm not sure why he didn't kill that one clam.
It's so hard.
Okay.
JD might not have
This
a lot
is
of
really
experience
rough.
fighting this without full magic as well.
Yeah. I missed on the top two.
Piper coming in, got the first 2 hits. There's the third. And quick kill successful for Piper, who's going to take the lead back.
Yeah, this is really rough for JD, just because he pushed the button too early.
Mm-hmm. And it even looked like he was trying to time it out with his kicks. Oh, was a little too close and actually took a hit at the moment it opened. So that's going to make this even scarier. But you can see how much of a nightmare this boss is if you do not have absolutely full magic. It's actually going to reset and do the level from the start, it looks like.
I would agree with that decision. Do they know
You hit the start
password?
button and not the password.
This is intentional.
JD?
I don't know if you can make up 14 minutes there. But, I mean, the last save, I guess, would be... He'd still be back, like, 3 levels. Okay, wait.
We've informed JD that,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah, I told him he can use a
passwords.
password. I think he thought he wasn't allowed
I think he's
to.
going to
Yeah.
to game facts right now. Game FAQs. Learning.
I'm also looking for passwords because I don't know if he has them.
Me too.
But even having to stop and look up a password will be faster than starting over
Yeah,
from
then
the
trying to
beginning.
figure out how to fight that boss.
Oh, no.
The only ways I could, depending on where checkpoints, and I'm just thinking of ways that JD could possibly still win this.
It's got to be something big.
I've never seen this screen. This is
Now we're looking at an awkward PlayStation controller.
Oh, did you find it? Okay. I was literally going to screenshot the VOD where the old man gave him the password.
okay, but yeah. So let's see where that puts him. But I think if Piper goes for the really aggressive Phoenix strategy on that boss again and messes it up, that'll be rough.
To be fair, that boss, besides being a nightmare, has also tripped up other runners that we've had, like Socrates in the original race of this game.
Oh.
In the open competition, struggled a lot on that boss.
So Piper died in this stage, and if you come into this boss fight without full magic, this is a boss fight we've seen a few people get pretty stuck on.
Yeah, well, you only need one, like 4 magic to fight this guy.
We've also
and it's
seen
pretty
a few people come up
easy.
with their own setups that are completely different from what OmniGamer showed that seemed pretty consistent as well. So we'll see what Piper has lined up for this. Ooh, Piper
Oh, the
healed.
heal coming out. Going for the very quick kill on this guy.
Yeah, this boss is unique in that it has such short
Perfect
iframes. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. It gets hit a bunch by like stuff. Okay, so Omni's doing this guy again.
You say
And then
Omni is doing it
wait.
again?
Or start. Yeah, oh yeah. JD's doing this guy again. Just wait until you see the pink.
I like
then
that
fire.
laugh from Amber. That's the very clear. Somebody else did it for once.
It was. I'm glad you could tell that. That's why I was laughing.
Yeah, I knew why you were laughing.
I'm not alone anymore.
Yeah, and so JD has fallen behind quite a bit.
Oh, that's not
but
good for Piper, but
there are definitely points where this could be made up. There are, especially in the last few stages, some pretty tough points where you can lose a lot of time if it goes bad. So JD's still in this potentially.
I would say that something has to go really wrong on a boss rush where you have Phoenix.
One thing I'd point out that we saw already last week was if the first Ashura fight goes wrong and you come back with not full magic, so you only have one Phoenix, that can be really bad.
That would that's probably the most likely scenario of a mistake if you drop a Phoenix on Ashura. Now the question I have is whether or not one of us played Doom, because maybe we'll see Doom tomorrow. Just depending on who wins this race. But it's really looking in Piper's favor right now, as fighting Dragafant is going for the short strategy, more aggressive than we had seen most players do. Getting over those apples is hard.
Yeah, good kill.
How far away is Piper actually from the center? Because that room has multiple tiles, so not that far.
If you're all the way to the side, I think it's like if you're in the center of the screen, it's the center of the screen.
Yeah, it was
if
like
in the middle,
apparently
it's weird.
Slightly to the right of where that is.
Yeah.
Here's a forest stage. It's short.
All right, this will be interesting. JD is in the auto scroller. Can he get? I think there's a magic manip coming up.
The manips have already passed.
Oh, they've already passed. Okay. So he's just gonna have to deal with not having full magic.
Yeah, but for the win stage, there's so many alternatives you can do at the start. I feel like it's fine. You want it, but it's not the worst in the world to not have it.
Yeah, I think
this stage could also go pretty poorly.
I think the number that OmniGamer said is basically every time you use a meteor dash, you save 2 seconds. Oh, nice. Goes for the Hero Force backup.
Like I said, this stage can go badly. Let's see how many times Piper tries to save time on the Crusher. Elects to only die to it once this time.
I love the little ding when you punch the projectile on these ones. It's so fun.
It's pretty fun.
It's like the old cell phone alert sound that everybody had.
Now everything's convoluted. Okay, so takes a hit there. Not in too bad of a spot. JD is moving on to fight the wind
He
boss.
just meteor dashed into the wall to cancel that projectile. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was good. I just barely caught it because JD's fighting Wind Guy. Very good fight. Again, it's a shame we only see him once. It's fun to watch that quick kill. But there's probably a lot of other things going in on that stage, and programming in a SNES.
They're probably using like slots that are important for the wind.
Yeah, they have water, so I think the water and the wind are the same, probably.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
dies
misses the
on
manip.
the elevator, which is fine.
In fairness, it's resetting the room to reset up that manip.
Does that work? It does.
Yes.
Okay.
I think the frames just reset like when you enter, and that's why certain things always kind of work.
Just didn't know that was a thing for sure. That's one of the other one of the easy manips here.
Oh, the turnaround punch on that fireball from JD. Now, you don't really need any magic, because we're not going to see any lava swimming today. Well, I guess we did technically see it for a hot minute, but that was a different game. And it was really only to then skip the entire dungeon.
Ooh, Piper almost fell in the pit. That was a good save.
Yeah, so I just see someone talking about manips. This game has there is a set number of frames that when you kill an enemy on that frame, that's when you get a magic drop. And you can basically consistently set up certain rooms to manip magic based on where you are and what you're doing. It's very consistent. That was a very clean fight onto the dragon for Piper.
The other thing that really helps is that you can buffer moves. So if you're holding the magic button as a room is loading, you will fire it the first frame you can every time. And that's how a lot of the manips are set up. It's just load into a room, hold magic button, and you hit an enemy at the right time. Like that one, he used the starburst instead of the crescent, just because that guarantees it on the big dragon snake thing.
Okay, so we don't see anybody getting old man bossed. Yeah, I think a bad Asher fight is likely the only place left for JD to catch up because of the disastrous claims. I guess also, although Piper has a lot more health, dying to mode 7 boss a couple more times could also happen, because that's coming up on the refights.
It should happen. I say
it shouldn't. No, you have more health.
You know,
it shouldn't. But you know, there's a lot of things that shouldn't happen.
Tough part here for JD. Goes for the warrior force just to give himself a little bit more leeway. Just because these guys do
too much damage. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I felt like he was gonna go for that no matter what. Like even if he wasn't comfortable with it, because when you're at 1 pip of health, why not? That's the only save that you can get on basically any of the crushers. Is that?
God, he just took 4 damage. This auto-scroller is scarier than it looks, because now you have Phoenix, and at any point if you're in danger, you just hit the Phoenix button. And there's a couple magic drops placed around so that it's not like too big of a deal if you have to use it. It does use 4 magic.
One though. Yeah, you need one of your Phoenixes.
Mm-hmm. But like right there, if you had to use a Phoenix just to survive, you could pick up that magic drop. You'd still be fine.
And these falling platforms, they only fall when you stand on them. They don't fall when you're climbing on them, so JD gets the manip in this tower. I think the final level's Raglan's Citadel. That sounds right, because we're supposed to be fighting Raglan.
Alright, and here's the boss rush.
Yeah. And, well, there's the genie down.
Yeah, the Phoenix is ridiculous because you're completely invulnerable while you're in Phoenix. You can fly, and you do contact damage of like 4 or something like that. With the Phoenix, it's just tons of damage. You won't see it here on this boss, just because this boss, as mentioned before, takes 1 damage from everything.
Probably use a Phoenix on it for fun, because you're going to get full magic after this room anyway.
Yeah.
And you can't, like... You want to keep, you know, like 4 magic around, because you want to meteor dash to the next room.
As long as you have enough to meteor dash into the magic drops in the, like, intermediary rooms, I think you're fine. Because I think that's the ideal.
Oh, JD had an unfortunate... was too far to the left, so lost some time on the warrior force. Still gets a 1 cycle on that boss. It's not as fast as it can be.
Yeah, like that.
And I even mentioned, like last week, why weren't people meteor dashing through that room? It's free and it's fast.
Yeah, especially that one. One dash got both of the magic pickups. So
Yeah, it
that's just a
covers
free 2
over half the
seconds.
room. Yeah, a free meteor dash doesn't waste any time. I'm only curious because I don't. Yeah, I thought Piper was too low on the very first hit. Needs 2 jump kicks on this guy, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But yeah, I just noticed on the first hit they didn't hit the guy, and I'm like, okay, was that just me? But no, I can see it.
But
okay, so
again,
apparently
this
it's
is
a
not,
3-minute, 30-second deficit.
It's not
This
over
can still go
because
poorly.
Both Ashura fights can go pretty poorly if they get off to a bad start. We've seen it happen multiple
we've
times.
seen Ashura fights swing super hard. Then Phoenix makes that boss easy, but the first Phoenix is really hard to get in and do it. We are approaching our good friend Dragafant.
This boss just reminds me of Applin from Pokemon.
Yeah, this is first
Appleton!
though.
It's just an apple dragon.
Oh, it doesn't hit all the Phoenixes. Does have to slowly
I think
fight.
he's the second one a little
Dragafant.
too early, and he was still in iframes when you would have
Yeah.
wanted to get the first hit.
Yeah, the second one was early.
Yeah, it's just an apple.
Also, someone said, surprised the Speed Seasons people picked a game where you fight the floor and the wall, but never the ceiling.
This boss is
I don't know, is
interesting. Because you need the Phoenix to break the shield, otherwise you can't do any damage. I'm trying to think of a game where you fight the ceiling.
I'm just seeing Piper. Piper waited really long on that second Phoenix just so there was no chance of messing that up.
That's smart. I'm curious if Piper is going to take the intentional death, make fun of boss
I mean, you
safer.
technically fight the ceiling in this game. You deal with those crushes.
I'm trying to think of a game where you fight a ceiling as a boss now.
I don't think there's any wall master bosses or ceiling master bosses.
It's also funny that they're called wall masters because they're more floor masters.
It depends. Sometimes they come from the ceiling, sometimes they come from the wall, sometimes they come from the floor.
Okay, yeah, he's taking the intentional death here, getting punched, does 4 damage, fastest way to die there. Now he's got half magic, gets the magic drop, has full magic, has more leeway to make some mistakes here, doesn't need the perfect cycle to guarantee the kill. Main goal here is you do not want to get hit by the laser or the explosion that comes afterwards. That does 2 damage. Contact damage does 1. And if the boss gets all the way to the top, then the pattern changes and becomes much, much more difficult to deal with. So you want to try and kill him before he gets all the way to the top and starts charging his fist back and forth very rapidly.
And the way it's looking, it looks like Piper is going to take this one. Honestly, I think JD's preparation was very good. It was just 2 really unfortunate situations that led to those. Had the mistakes not happened the way that they did, easily would have swung in both of those games the other way.
Yeah, get your GGs out for Piper, who is going to be facing Pika Pals in the grand finals tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll see what bans come out there. I have this feeling that Doom and Pilot Wings are going to be banned. Well, Piper's going to ban. Basically, I think that just because of the way it shakes out, Piper basically has complete control over what's being played. Because Pika Pals is going to ban Doom and Pilot Wings. And Piper likes the other 5 games, so I feel like it's going to be Skyblazer is going to be open, and then something else.
It could be one of the rare. This could be the opportunity for Skyblazer to not happen.
It could be,
because the fact
really
that you're saying
depends.
that like Pika Pals has to ban 2 very specific games, Piper can ban whatever he wants. I think this would be the one chance where Skyblazer doesn't get played.
Yeah, I guess if Piper wanted to take Pika to CTR and to Katamari, and either SMB2 or Link's Awakening, yeah. But as yet, JD would have, if it didn't lose, again, it was like a 3-minute, like, just time was lost.
Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate because both these races were actually very close despite the time difference. Just one big mistake in both these races is what really cost.
Yeah,
GD.
honestly, it was JD's pace, other than the mistakes, was close if not faster, and that, that happens. That's rough.
Yep.
So
yeah, I have a feeling Piper might ban Link's Awakening, unless Piper thinks he can smack a 38 down. 38's a very respectable time in that category.
I'm not saying it's likely to happen. I think it's just this is probably the only opportunity in which we might not see Skyblazer.
If you were to see, because you're banning. I would say probably between, if I were to guess, SMB2, Link's Awakening, or Skyblazer is one of the things you would ban.
JD taking the intentional death. No big surprise there.
Yeah.
So y'all are talking about the grand finals. I want to know what's happening in the bronze match tomorrow.
I absolutely no idea. Depends on whether or not 1UP is going to ban Doom. So we might see Doom again.
Yeah, I mean, that was a scary time from JD. Even though he wound up being quite a bit behind, lost a lot of time there. You take away E1 M3, and JD's time was fantastic.
Yeah. It's gonna be real curious to see what ends up happening.
I think that'll mean that
feeling
Doom
JD's
gets banned.
bans aren't gonna change either. JD, unless he doesn't ban CTR. But I know he really likes a lot of the games, so I think it just wants to play his game. Heal. Okay, why'd you have to go for so risky with so much magic?
He's all the way at the top now. It gets harder because this fist is just going to keep slamming back and forth repeatedly. He did get hit by the laser there as well. Oh, I thought he got hit by the laser there, but he hit the head.
Just heal!
Oh my god. JD.
Are you playing it like you're doing it the deathless route?
JD, this is so scary. Oh my god.
JD, okay, gets it done. Oh, JD, please.
Yeah, this race would have really come down to the wire.
3.5 minutes. He had to redo 2 stages. Had to stop and look up the password.
Yep.
So again, like, that would have been super close.
So, like, I'm interested in both our matchups tomorrow. So, Just Defend is going to be going on to the bronze match tomorrow against 1UP 40. And we'll see if we if I end up saying 1UP Defend or something like that. But, yeah, definitely tune in tomorrow because that's going to be our final episode of Speed Seasons 3. We've got 2 matches left. It's going to be the bronze match of JD versus 1UP 40, and then the grand finals of Piper versus Pika Pals. And with that match, anything can happen at this point. So I'm definitely very excited.
I think the finals matches, like, these were all very close races overall today, barring singular mistakes and just, not clutching it out. All of this is going to be very good tomorrow.
Ever since Doom was introduced, I was warning that you gotta be careful with your saves. Yeah. You've said that non-stop, and that's just what happened. 2% health.
And I think there was not enough care in trying to recover it, because it was like you were aggressively trying to recover it rather than carefully trying to recover it.
He had a couple attempts where if he'd taken it a little slower, you might have been able to, but it's completely random. The zombies and the shotgunners, when they see you, it is a random amount of time before they shoot you. So sometimes even when you're taking it very slow and carefully, they'll just instantly shoot you, and you can't do anything about it. So, like, I can understand putting a certain amount of time into it and then just restarting.
Yeah. Xeno saying with a sad face, we might not see Pilot Wings. We might. Bronze match. Here's hoping for bronze match. Somehow Link's Awakening, Doom, Pilot Wings. I'd like that. that'd be good. It depends on how One Up feels about Pilot Wings. I don't. They did crazy good on Pilot Wings. JD also did crazy good on Pilot Wings in the run back. They both have very similar PBs based on what they've shown. They can both rock a 30, with One Up being like 15 seconds faster, I think. So yeah, honestly, bronze match we could see almost anything that isn't Link's Awakening, because I'm pretty sure JD's just gonna ban that. You know, if you learn 6 games and you're just like, I'm not doing this. This seems like effort.
Because I think Just Defend, along with St. Joe, were the two who had skipped a game, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, Joe just saw Pilot Wings and like, I'm not playing this. That's not happening. Didn't even consider it. You know, maybe JD thought about Link's Awakening and was like, there's too much here, I'm not doing this. Because there's a lot going on. There's so many moving parts. There's a lot of precision tricks there. But yeah, we've seen every game. That's good.
That's a feel-good moment.
It is a feel-good moment. We saw 4 unique games today. That's a first.
We did the thing. We didn't have Katamari 4 matches in a row.
Katamari 4 matches in a row, and back-to-back every time somehow. Not really sure how that worked itself out, but yep, it sure did.
4 matches in a row of Katamari to 2 in a row of no Katamari.
Yeah, and honestly, we might not see it again tomorrow either. It'll be curious. Although the Katamari times for all of these vary. Now they are identical.
Yeah, like I'm very happy with where we're at going into tomorrow. So if we want to if we actually just want to take a moment and update the bracket to show again,
oh
like...
yeah, you know what? I should go do that. I haven't pushed any of the buttons on that bracket currently. So if I just go to challenge real quick, update this bracket. So I press this button and then this button. And then this button.
I like the muttering from Alpha in the background. Always updating the bracket.
Oh no, it's intentional. Okay.
Press this button and this button.
So here we go. It's there now. Now the bracket's updated. I just had to push all the buttons because I just forgot to update the bracket the entire time.
What the heck? Why is that? Why is that white?
I'm not sure, but
yeah,
we have the bracket on
there.
screen.
But
yeah. That's what we're looking at. You can also view this bracket on on speedseasons.com. That's going to be the link that I'm going to be posting via that command in chat. You can also find the form if you want to suggest games for Speed Seasons 4. That is a thing that Alpha is interested in doing in probably like a year and a half to 2 years or so.
Yes, you gotta give everybody time to, you know, calm down and, you know, take a break. Because, again, this is the end of week 20. It's a lot. We've basically been doing this for a quarter of a year of just, you know, learn, speed, run, play video game.
Yep.
Takes a lot out of you.
It really does. And that's not just runner fatigue. It is also like, you know, Alpha's been mostly the only organizer of the competition itself.
Yeah,
so,
I had to remember how all of these games work for this long and learn them. There's a ton of information to go into this, and there's a ton of vetting. Oof.
Oh yeah. So just to answer the question in chat, people keep asking, is there anything else going on tonight? Unfortunately, no, but tomorrow we will be back at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for the final 2 matches of Speed Seasons 3, so you don't want to miss that. And if you do, you can check out our YouTube, because it'll be up there some amount of days after airing. So you can check us out on our YouTube at twitch.tv/ not Twitch. YouTube does not go to Twitch. It is... My goodness.
You got one more day to get it right.
God, just go to our YouTube channel. Like, YouTube, I believe it's youtube.com/GDQ or Games Done Quick. I can do this. I am a hot mess today. But also, as a reminder, speaking of hot messes, SGDQ 2021 online is happening July 4th to the 11th. I'm running in that. That run's gonna be a hot mess. It's 2 players, 1 controller. It'll be great. Anyways, if you want to check out the schedule, or if you want to, donate prizes, because those close tomorrow night. Also, check out GamesDoneQuick.com for more information. Prize submissions have been open for a while. And they are closing tomorrow night, end of day, June 27th. So if you do have something you'd like to donate as a prize, make sure you get in those submissions before then. And then if you want information on any and all of our Hotfix shows, you want to check out gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. And then from there, you can find out more information about submitting your runs to any of our weekly shows, whether it is the community spotlight that Railcoon hosts, or it's Never Before Seen, which is my regular show that I host, or maybe The First Step, or anything else in between. We have tons of content every week when we're between main events, and it is all worth your time, I promise. So any final thoughts, you two, as we close out?
I can't believe this is almost over.
Mood. And Railcoon, you're awesome. Just a reminder.
I was expecting much more bullying throughout the show than you did, so.
No, it's hard to get in when y'all are actually commentating a race, so I can't bully you with kindness.
Maybe we have more game 3s. We'll have more time to bully Railcoon tomorrow.
Oh my god!
I do believe we have Shrambles also joining us again for grand finals commentary. Shrambles being our 9th place racer in the competition, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
yes,
did pretty well. Didn't think they wanted it until they wanted it.
Yeah, and he was our guest commentator last weekend, so he'll be back for grand finals. Maybe we'll hear a little bit of Railcoon on the mic as well, because Railcoon has been the tech for all of this and kindly donated multiple episodes of the community spotlight to providing the tutorials. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, it'll depend on how worn out I am, because I've got an event run very early in the morning.
Yeah, I feel that. But thank you all so much for watching. Tune in tomorrow 1 p.m. for the conclusion. And that's going to be it. We're going to find someone to send you all over to, so stick around while we go to a break, while we find someone to raid. They'll be running something or other, but send all of your good speed energy over to them. And with that, my name is Amber Cyprin. This has been Speed Seasons 3, and we'll catch you all tomorrow afternoon. Take it easy.